Live from New York and LA, this is Hangout Conversations with Matt Rappaport. Oh ho, hello to another edition of Hangout Conversations. I thought I'd start the show with a fortune cookie, see what my fortune is. Last week I started the show with a glass of wine, and people usually crack and stuff, like I just crunch it up and make a mess everywhere. Not that I really eat the fortune cookie. How are you doing out there? Welcome to an exciting edition of Hangout Conversations. This is my fortune. I haven't seen it beforehand. Attention is the mother of memory. There you go. In bed, attention is the mother of memory. I guess that means I better remember how to please my woman that doesn't exist right now. But that's awesome. How are you? Welcome to Hangout Conversations. My name is Matt Rappaport. I'm back from the kitchen of Lee Allison. And now we're going to be in the bedroom, talking about bedroom discussion, I should say. Tonight's guest coming up. Welcome to Hangout Conversations, you lovely human beings, you people, you plussers, you tubers. Summer's almost here. Memorial Day weekend, barbecue, superhero movies. Are you excited for some R&R? I am. Speaking of Chef Lee Allison, our show last week, live from his kitchen, is now up for you to enjoy. We did chocolate souffle, we did wine, we did scotch. He made some Sammys. A lot of good food porn in that episode. And episode 12 of the Plus Statement Show, where I got some quality alone time with Matt Mikowski. Yeah, he's a crazy guy, and I love him. And your two Matts, Chris Perillo jumped into that one and set the record straight. Lego my ego on that one. So youtube.com, Hangout Conversations. And what else? The new G Plus Android app is out today. So how do you like it? Are you enjoying it? Natalie Villalobos, she's the community manager here at G Plus. She's like, oh, how do you like the new Hangout feature? And I was like, I have an iPhone, so I don't have that feature yet. But let me know how it is. Supposedly you can start a Hangout right from your phone, and then you can invite people. And when you invite people, their phone rings. So it's almost like a phone call. So now people might not even use a phone call. They might not use Skype. They might just use the vibrating phone, and it's a free phone call through your internet plan. So that's really interesting to see how that's going to go as we move along. And also you can edit posts, which you can't do on the iPhone. Which is when on the iPhone, I make so many errors, autocorrect. It's like, I want to say suck, and it says sex or something like that. You can't fix it until you get home, you get on a laptop or desktop, and you're like, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. But that's what autocorrect.com is for, right? So let me know how that is. Tonight's guest, let's get to him. He's a unique one as we continue this cooking motif. Things are getting steamy. He's been in the online internet business since pretty much the beginning. The early mid-'90s, we'll ask him about that. He's been selling from his online mall, and then he moved to what was popular, sex toys, right? Of course. People want extra pleasure in life. It's brought my guest tonight from Boston to Hollywood. That was a terrible, I don't know, my Boston accent's wicked, wicked bad. He's living many guys' dreams. He was on Bravo's Millionaire Matchmaker and many other television appearances. He's now, after being a swinging bachelor, having all that fun, he's having a lot of fun being happily married with his first child on the way. Please welcome Dad-to-be, SexToy.com's owner, SexToy Dave. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
To Google Plus. How are you?
I'm great. Day. I'm great.
Cool.
It's good to be hanging out.
Hanging out down the street. So you're here. You're on Google Plus, and it's kind of new to you. You've been here for how long? Maybe a couple of weeks.
I've been on Google a little while. I just discovered Hangouts a couple weeks ago and immediately got addicted. I did a show this morning about, we have, because I sell sex toys, we have...
You sell sex toys? What?
Yeah, well, not only do I sell toys online, but I have affiliates, I have wholesalers, we have people, we help people make money selling sex toys. So we get all these questions from people, and so now we're just making all these information videos using Google Hangouts, and I'm trying to, almost every day trying to make a video. Today we did one of our most common questions on our wholesale site is, how do I get a catalog for my home party business? People ask this all day long, so I talked with one of my people for about 15 minutes about if you're starting a home party business, how you can make money and how
you're talking about pretty much home parties, bachelor parties, bachelorette parties are popular.
It's a home party is a thing. It's like you ever see
it's like Tupperware. Yeah, okay, Tupperware for sex toys.
So a bunch of women get together and it's literally a party and there may be drinking involved, but they're just showing
strippers.
Toys and not strippers because it's women usually at the party. Well, maybe male strippers, but
that's
no,
what I meant. That's what I meant. Yeah, male strippers.
There's plenty of excitement and craziness with the showing the toys, and they're vibrating, and everybody's laughing, and then they sell toys, and a lot of people make a living throwing these parties in their area. You know,
that's awesome. So
basis.
I mean, you started way back when. You started on, I mentioned the internet, 94, 95, would you say? And you were just trying to, you knew that something was cool about the internet. There's definitely a way to make money. There was a big craze. A lot of people were like, oh, there's got to be a way to make money. There's got to be something here. Everyone like threw out like their fishing nets and tried to get web domains. And how did that process work for you? And why did you believe in the internet so much? When I think Dan Rather called it a fad, or someone called it a fad back in the 90s.
Yeah, I wanted to have my own business, and I wanted to work from home, and I wanted to make money. And I had some friends who were in software and computers who were kind of making money, and I thought, okay, well, this looks like an exciting area. And then I saw the web, and I just knew that this was a platform that was going to take off because it was so easy. Because I didn't know anything. I was like, I can build a site. If I can build a site, then anybody can do it. And I mean, it was hard back then because you had there were no tutorials or books. You had to just call people up and be like, how do I? But anyways, I just was convinced this was a platform, and I said I'm going to try to figure out how to make money on it. And I got on there, and I was just I had this idea that, well, if I find somebody who has product, if I can sell it on the web, then I give them my order and they ship it to my customer. I can set up all these different stores. And do
you remember? Now that was before Google.com even existed, right? What was?
Oh yeah, no, it was
Yahoo.
Yahoo came out big. There was when I first
web crawler probably.
News groups, if you remember those, were actually relatively big. When I launched my toy store, the first thing I did is I posted it on the sex news group, and then I got an order. I was amazed, and then. Yahoo, when I submitted to Yahoo, I sent an email to Yahoo. I said, this is my site. They put me on the sex page of Yahoo.
It's so funny. Now, does that page still exist? It does, right? Or no?
Well, now it is a directory of millions. I mean, do they even have a hierarchical directory anymore? If they do,
I don't know.
I think
they did just come out with a browser for the mobile. I don't know why, but Access. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean Yahoo, but back then their directory was pretty cool, all handmade, hierarchical directory. I emailed them, and this page for sex, meaning all the websites on the web that Yahoo had for sex was about like 40 websites, and I was one of them. So it was that small and that easy to get traffic.
And 40 was a lot, probably. I mean,
yeah,
like a lot,
a lot of sex, but now there's 40 million.
Yeah, they say the sex sells, and it's true. I mean, besides sex, I guess.
Well, one other thing too, I wanted to say, when you said when I first started, I saw the web, and it had already been out for like a year, but most people hadn't heard of it. I was like, oh shit, I'm late, And one of the things I learned how to do some stuff, so I would call companies. I say, I build websites on the World Wide Web. Would you like me to help you? And people are like, what is the web? What are you talking about? 6 months later, I would call a company and I'd say, I build websites on the World Wide Web. They'd say, oh, hold on a minute. I'm going to get the president out of an important meeting to talk to you. It went from what is that to, oh my God, I got to have it. And then there was the it's already being done phase, which was, it was funny. Whatever you said, it was like, oh, I have an idea. I'm going to, sell paintings on the internet. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea, but somebody's already doing it. Everybody thought there's only going to be one person who does everything on the internet. And so everything was, somebody's already doing that. So it's not a good idea, And so then
how did you go? Because you had is it CVN.com where you had an online mall?
Well, CNV is my company name.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, it was Convergence was the name of the company. The domain wasn't available, so I got CNV, and now the company name is CNV. But anyways, I actually had, my mall was the W Cool Mall.
W Cool?
WCool.com still exists. I have my chat room that I started back in '95 too. There are people who go to this chat room every day.
Wow.
And I've been going there for like literally 15 years, and it's all they do all day. It's really bizarre.
Do you jump in there ever, or is it like, what is?
I'm not like a typing chatter. Hangout, this is not bad. At least it's, but I'm not really a typing chatter. But people have been going there every day, and people have gotten married through this thing. So I don't have the heart to close it. And the only time I go in is when they're having drama and somebody broke in and they're banning people. Somehow someone's messing up the room and I have to deal with it. But
how many people would you say so have you met any of these people ever in real life? Or
in real life, no.
Well, people argue with me. I mean, offline because people are like, this is real. We're real. I have that argument all the time.
Well, I even had, even my company, everybody works from home.
Yeah.
So, and I used to run it very, now I'm actually kind of almost running it what someone would say like a real company. But I used to just have all these people doing kind of automated, routine work for me from wherever they were. And I wouldn't talk to people, someone would be in charge of processing orders and they would do their work every day. And I'd talk to them once in a while. They'd do their job.
Have you met all of them now, or?
I had people who I worked with for 10+ years who I never met in person. And what did you say? Do I have people?
Oh, I said, so have you met all of them now? You just said 10 years.
Now we started doing real meetings. I have, we do planning, set the goals, have a meeting to discuss and prioritize in-person meetings, and I mean, there may be somebody new that I haven't met yet. And we have one guy who actually is from Brazil, who works in Brazil. I haven't met him. But I've met almost everybody now. Yeah.
Cool. I mean, and so, you didn't set out. You went to Michigan, right? And you're from Boston originally.
Yeah.
And have your dossier here somewhere. And so you didn't. The idea that you would one day sell sex toys and be in this industry, was that anywhere in your mind at all?
The king of sex toys was never...
never your mom's wet dream for you.
No, my mom said I was going to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Every Jewish mom, right?
Yeah. I even got the law school application. Wow. I took the LSATs. And then I said, forget that. And then I just want to have my own business. That was my only thing. And... If shoes were in short supply because of, remember sex toys, especially back then, you couldn't find them. There would be some small stores in towns, but, so that was something that had, small supply, high margins. If shoes had that situation, I would be...
You'd be Al Bundy.
More than Shoe Dave. Shoe Dave. I mean, whatever. This is what worked. So I didn't... It just, like I said, I was selling books and I was watches and T-shirts and selling.
Now, were any of those selling well? Besides,
some things. My second best store or business was setting people up as a credit card merchant.
Okay, that's
and it's funny. I recently bumped into a guy who was doing the same thing, setting up people's credit card merchant in '95. He stuck with it, did some innovations. He's $100 million.
Oh, all right. You're like, I should have went that way.
I guess I made the wrong. I took a.
Well, but you did okay. You're doing okay. You're not.
Yeah, I got. Listen, I got a little money, but we're doing
okay. You're enjoying life.
Oh right? Yeah. No, I'm fine. Especially living in Hollywood.
It could be worse. You could be only making $200,000 a year.
Yes, that would be horrible. Can you imagine that? Or imagine if I was in the 2% instead of the 1%.
Oh man.
But no, but especially when you're in LA, there's always like these people who are like so much rich. I'll go to a certain situation and I'm so poor. These people.
Well, when you
I feel like such a loser.
When you go to the Playboy Mansion, it's kind of unfair, right? For you to compare yourself to Hugh Hefner, right?
Yeah.
As far as money goes.
But there's people who just like hang out in the scene, and then you talk, certain people, and it's just like they have so much, and then I feel like I have nothing, and then I'll be in a different scene, and I'm like a billionaire, I'm the coolest thing. So it's all relative. You can always want more.
And that's the thing, right? So people take Charlie Sheen, they're like, he has so much money, but his your lifestyle, really. So like everyone talks about everyone wants more, needs more, and everyone's lifestyle is like beyond belief. A lot of these celebrities, their lifestyle, like they spend, like Nicolas Cage having to like mortgage his houses. It's like you're like, what is he spending money on? Like where is all that? He's making all these terrible movies. It's like, are people living well beyond their means in Hollywood? Is that?
Yeah. Oh, people. It's all. There's people who you would think are that rich. or to the extreme, you get
They're
people
broke.
who like just, especially someone who's like an actor and they get a gig and they make $20,000 and they'll just spend it. And say they'll go to the club and they got a table for $4,000, they got a limo, they're the man, and they run out of money. They go back to whatever. I mean, I don't do that at all. I want to pay. I just want to have my house paid off and live a nice life. There's this book, The 4-Hour Work Week, where one of the things the guy talks about is, everyone thinks about how much do you make a year, but how many hours do you work? How enjoyable is that? Where are you working? If you make $200,000 and you're in some country where the cost of living is nothing, that it's a lot more money. And what is your time schedule? And there's so many other factors that are so important that I'm just more and more focusing on the full life picture, rather than just working all day to make money.
And that idea, 9 to 5. Working, and then everyone says, well, if you have that kind of job, you have security, maybe you have a pension, maybe you have a retirement plan. But I think the idea that people are going to work from home and do their own businesses and work for themselves and not have to, and all the money comes to them, they're not slaving away, so all the money goes to someone else, is going to get more and more. And I start to wonder, well, who's going to do those other jobs then? Is it all going to be...
Well, theoretically... everyone could be their own business person, and when you say who's going to do those other jobs, what is that? It's a job that's low pay that someone else can do. So if nobody wants to sweep floors, then I need floor sweeping. I need to pay someone $50 an hour, and then someone will be willing to do it, or the price will go up. It'll adjust, and then doing manual labor becomes really high paying. Because
that would be funny.
No one wants to do it. In fact, my wife talks about how, one of the best indicators of how the economy is doing is the price of a massage.
Wow.
Because it's a manual, it's just a job that someone does, and it's kind of static,
But it's high end, right? Not everyone gets massages. That's
right, but they have it all over the world. What is someone willing to spend an hour of their time for how much money for this one service that's kind of a constant thing? And it's funny, just in LA, when I moved here like 10 years ago, you couldn't find a massage for less than 60, 70. Now you see them for $30 an hour.
But it's quality, right? How do you know what the quality is?
Yes, but not including Happy Finish though.
Wow. Forget that. That's some of the.
That's more expensive.
In fact, though, I would think that the actual massage to get it nice is more of a skill than the happy ending. I'm just saying.
You may know more about that than me.
No, not at all. I've never actually had. I haven't had too many professional massages. Although it's interesting, Google has massage rooms. I've been to the New York office, and so employees. I would think it's interesting. All these companies. Really, like Google and Microsoft and all those other places have all these things. They don't want you to leave. They have like the video games and the workout room and all the food on every floor and massage rooms.
Well, that's why I like people working from home, because they're not going to leave. It's their home.
Right.
And people like that, and it's harder to find a good job where you can work from home. I have one programmer. She's great. She's been offered, lots of money to live in New York and work at some corporate thing, but she's up in Montana in the middle of nowhere. Right
next to Harrison Ford.
With his job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Hey, Paulie 10th. Hey, what's up? Paulie 10th says we're great. You're great, Paulie 10th. He's checking us out here on Hangout Conversations. I'm live with Dave, SexToy Dave Levine. So, I mean, you'll never get tired of SexToy. It's kind of like it's a musician with their hit song. Here in SexToy. Do people just call you SexToy?
The funny thing is with this nickname, I moved to Hollywood and started when I got this house up in the hills, and I just started I had an after party every Saturday for 8 months, and I remember hearing people say, people would be on the phone, hey, I'll come to this party, Dave, SexToy Dave, because everyone knew I sold sex toys. That's funny. I gave out toys at my parties, and people would kind of say that, and
Yeah, better than dildo. Better than dildo, Dave. I'll tell you.
Thank you. Yes, but you know, SexToy Dave has its own problems. You know the initials of SexToy Dave.
Oh, STD. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't win. I just can't win.
Do you have a middle name that makes it better, or no? That makes it worse.
M? I don't know.
MSTMD. I guess that's better.
MD.
Look, your mom got her wish. You're a doctor. There you go.
But then I finally, the parties got so big, I had to kind of stop doing it, and I was like, well, why don't I go out for once and go to other people's parties, and then I would meet people, and they'd be like, Dave, oh, you're SexToy Dave. I was like, I am? What is SexToy Dave? I didn't know that was my name, but everyone had taught, because I had these parties all the time, and it was just like the word of mouth thing, and everyone was like,
and is that an LA thing? Does everybody kind of have like a nickname? Even the actors and celebrities, everyone kind of has like nicknames? Or
I think actors and celebrities people actually know, but I think people who, it's for throwing parties and promoters, you need to have a unique, I think some people, if your name is Jalandro, that's going to be your name. But there was a guy I remember who, his name was Asian Seth. There's a lot of Seths. He was Asian. They called him Asian Seth. And there's a lot of nicknames for that. Yeah, there are nicknames, especially when there was MySpace and everybody had some crazy name. I mean, there's people who I still call them by their MySpace name. Wow. I met them as that name, and I still call them the name.
Like YouTube, yeah, same thing.
Yeah,
so crazy names.
So everyone started calling me SexToy Dave, and I was like, whatever. I mean, it's kind of funny, but I didn't create it or promote it. But then it became actually great marketing, because if I go on TV or I go on somewhere, the name SexToy Dave is, nobody else has that name.
And SexToy is going to tie right to your website.
And it implies what I do. It comes up in the search. And so, when I was on Millionaire Matchmaker, they're not going to show my domain name. They're not going to talk about my
right, but they're saying SexToy Dave, so people type in SexToy Dave.
Right.
And that's what people do. They Google you. That's what the thing is. Everyone Googles you. They know more about you before they meet you.
And what's funny, too, is because I'm on TV, I was on Millionaire Matchmaker, but people would come up to me and they'd be like, oh, you're a billionaire. I'm like, no, it's Millionaire Matchmaker.
Do they think it's the same thing? And
people would say, oh, yeah, this guy, he was on TV, he has the biggest website in the world. I'm like, listen, it's not Google, it's SexToy.
I heard that it's the size that matters, right? Okay.
Yes, size that matters.
Let's talk about that. So you were on Millionaire Matchmaker. For those of you that don't know, Bravo's reality show. Patty, what's her last name?
Patty Stanger.
Oh, Stanger, and she is a Yenta. I seriously, I've seen the show. I saw you on it too. And so, kind of getting millionaires. It was mostly men, but then she started to introduce women as it went along. And actually, there was one show where the two millionaires actually went out together. That was interesting.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, there was a show about that. So I guess she has a whole crew. This guy with this weird mohawk, I don't know his name, and this other chick, and so you were on the show. You were one of the I guess bachelors, I should say, and they show like your I guess it's an audition tape, or what? I guess it was probably was it your audition tape? Or
yes, the original, the first I was on season 1 and season 2.
Okay.
Season 1 was actually I went in for an audition, and that they recorded me asking a few questions, and that recording went on the show.
So I have a question though, because when you think of Millionaire Matchmaker, did Patty have this whole business before there was a reality show? Was she doing this without TV?
She actually had a business. I mean, I don't know how well it was doing, but she's a little matchmaker business, and she. She charges a lot, a couple clients. She had a couple people helping. She was making a living, But now, I'm sure she's got a hell of a lot of clients. I think it helped her business quite a bit. But she did have a business. I think probably somebody had the idea for the show. They were looking for somebody. They found her, and she is,
She can't be the only game in town, right?
You mean for matchmaking?
Yeah.
Oh no, I mean matchmaking is an ancient business, as they say, and now with the internet, there's so many websites with dating and matching, and especially with this rich guys and Well,
I would tell you now, Google Plus, I think, is these Hangouts and the whole thing. This could kill all the dating sites, kill Patty, because what's more natural than going into a Hangout, seeing someone, talking to them. You don't have to go on a date. You don't have to know anything about that person, and you get to know them, and then you get to meet them. And so there's never before, there's been Skype and stuff, and there's been all that, but I just think that this technology is
one of the things that Pat, to speak for Patty, one of the things she would say is, well, there's all these people, but you want to find, a certain type, and she's going to help it narrow it down, as opposed to just trolling on Google+. Another thing that she does that was part of the show, I think it still is part of the show, she takes these guys who are millionaires and you can kind of get whatever, and they're single, and she kind of comes at it as the approach of, well, you're single, you got a problem, and you're doing something wrong, I'm going to fix you, and then you're going to get your relationship. And so for me, her and I clashed, especially
you did clash, and I know that the whole stripper pole, she came to your house, and she does flip out and overreact. You're a millionaire, you have money, you're not necessarily...
And I know what I'm doing. I felt I knew what I was doing, and now I'm married. I think
So would you say did you say you went on the show because you really... Sure, you wanted to find someone, but was it, what was your motivation for going on the show?
I was single. I'm meeting girls. A match, they come to me. Do you want to be on TV? And a matchmaker's going to introduce you to some girl. Well, why not?
Did they have to research you and be like, oh, because they had a couple of people that weren't millionaires, and they're like, and she would always be like, this guy lives in this dumpy house. This guy really a millionaire. I was doing the my millionaire single guy TV circuit for a year. I also went on this Megan Wants a Millionaire. Yeah.
Joan Rivers, How You Got So Rich.
Yeah, I saw you. So it's something about you getting handcuffs or something?
On this Megan Wants a Millionaire show.
Yeah.
And that, the people on that show, they don't research very thoroughly. I don't know. I signed some contract. I'm not allowed to say anything remotely negative.
No, I know. I'm not asking you to say negative. I'm just...
Let's just say the reality is that...
reality TV is not reality.
For one thing, in my first Millionaire Matchmaker thing, it was before the housing bubble crash. So, if you bought a house 2 years before and the price went up, you're a millionaire. So it was like, I don't know, I own a house. And then... I don't know. I don't know what goes on. I'm a millionaire. I'm on the show being honest. That's all I know. Some of these people, I look at them, I'm like, I'm not sure this person's...
And so can you talk a little bit about, because I don't remember all your dates, all the people that you met, and I know on the show she brings girls that she thinks you're going to go after, and then there's a lot of other girls that are just there. Yeah. What is that experience like? And so is it real, or is it hard because there are cameras and there are producers moving you around, or do they let you go after it?
Well, it's real, but one thing, in Patty's defense, she is a matchmaker, and I actually never used her service off camera. And in reality, I think if I went to her service and paid her lots of money, she would spend a lot of time researching to find me a person. But when they're on the TV schedule and they're doing a show per week, and she literally met me on a Monday, and we're doing a mixer on a Wednesday, she can only use the people who have been gone through casting. So, the selection process is made a little more difficult for her through the casting. But, I went to the first season. There was a room of 15 girls who...
And they were all attractive, probably, mostly.
Yeah, well, you got to... it depends what
at least half of them were attractive.
Here's my thing at the time. I'm throwing parties...
You have women in bikinis, you're SexToy Dave.
Parties. I got the most beautiful girls all over the place all the time, to the point that, I was very picky. So if you're a certain person would be like, oh my God, all these girls are amazing. And for me, it was like,
Right. But once you have that much beautiful, it's like, well, who's smart? Who do I connect with? Who's
the beautiful thing became just, well, that's a given. Of course, she's going to be beautiful, but who's got the, And so they had all these women, and and it's real. You talk and choose who you like, and I picked two, and actually then they had one girl who I didn't actually pick. They said, hey, you know what? You should have 3 girls. This other girl, she seems really funny, maybe a little crazy. We talked to her too, So then I picked this one girl who I really thought was cool, but she fooled me. She had a boyfriend, and she was just, and actually I ended up meeting her for real, later, like a compulsive liar. She totally fooled me. Made me look even a little stupid, I think, on TV. Although you couldn't really tell, and they edit. One advantage that I had on that show, and sometimes have, is I'm the sex toy guy who you would expect to be a pervert and a horrible person. But
you're not.
But lo and behold, he's a nice guy after all. So they don't want to make me, maybe if I was really, really bad, you know, it would be so easy, then they would do it. But if I just do like one stupid thing, they almost don't.
Right, like they bring up the stripper pole multiple times, like that's all they had on you. Like, oh my God, he's got a stripper pole.
Right, but then it's like, but he really is like a normal guy, and you know, at first it was like he's a normal guy, and eventually he'll get rid of the stripper pole, and then they said, well, that's who he. They want to paint me as actually really normal, so it kind of helps. It made me a little less nervous because I don't know if I did something.
And would you say, because you live in Hollywood, I mean, I can't imagine. You know, writer, director, actor, New York, and all that, but in L.A., and I've always wanted to go out there. I gotta imagine everyone and their mother's an actor, or director, writer, whatever. They're all looking to break into the business, and I can't not imagine like all these girls that are showing up to this casting call want to be actresses, right? For the most part.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you know, some women are. I bumped into a girl actually to give you the other side of the story. I was at the Playboy Mansion at a party. And some girl says, oh, my God, you're SexToy Dave. I was going to be on your episode, but I didn't want to do it because she was a school teacher, and she didn't want to be, you know, with SexToy Dave.
She didn't want to be objectified on TV.
And she seemed very nice. She seemed almost like probably too conservative for me. Meanwhile, I'm bumping into her at the Playboy Mansion. And, you know, so there are nice, normal girls, but a lot of them are strippers and porn stars. I mean, well, you know, or actress. Nice. And what is the difference between an actress and a stripper? It's all.
I will not answer that question. I could answer that question.
Eventually, if you're in Hollywood for a long time, there just becomes one category, which I call guilty until proven innocent.
Nice.
So.
And so you've been living in what, LA or Hollywood for what, 7 years or so or more?
About 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah, and 8 years in this house. I rented for 2 years and then I moved in here and
so you were like a millionaire. You were already set before you even went out there, or not?
I started my business in '95, and all I did was work. When I first started my business, I set my alarm for 6 a.m. and I would work till midnight. I was 7 days a week because I wanted to have my own business. It's the internet. I got to figure this shit out. I worked really hard. And then I started, you know, phasing it down over time to become normal hours. But still, all I did was work. I was in Boston. When I went out, I never had much fun. And so that was all I did. I never had girlfriends. I mean, you know, I would date. I had things, but I didn't.
Right. And is that, do you think that's you? Do you think that's just Hollywood and LA or the world? I mean, the idea that, like, it's both.
Yeah. I thought it was me, actually, because I thought I had, like, social issues. Like, I don't have fun when I go out, and people think I'm crazy, and I have these problems.
Well, and also dating, I think dating is there's a fakeness to dating. It's like, all right, we're going on a date, and usually someone you don't know at all. So it's kind of like you don't have, if you ask someone out that you kind of know or you work with or you had conversations with, there's more to go on than just like a blind date, you know, or first time.
Dating, there's so much phoniness because basically everybody who's single, when someone's single, they probably have a few things going on. And when you go on a date with someone, you only act like you don't let anybody know that you're seeing anyone else. So from the beginning, you're hiding stuff. You know, it's just. But anyways, I didn't have much going on, and then I came out to Hollywood, and I thought it would be better for my social life, but. When I got in for the first time to the cool club, you know, I literally went to this club. The guy's like, you know, you're not getting in here. And then I came back the next week. He's like, I'm not letting you in. And I did that a couple times. And then my friend, one guy friend who came out also, and he was like, forget it. He stayed home. I went alone, and the guy let me in. I couldn't believe it. I called my friend. I'm like, I'm in the promised land. I can't believe it. I'm in this room. I was just happy to be in the room with these. You know, I used to, from Boston, I would watch TV, and we see beautiful girls on TV and these commercials. I'm like, who are these people? Where do they exist? And they all go to like one club or each night of the week. And so
hey, Jeremy Piven's in the corner. All right.
I was in the room. Now I couldn't talk to anyone. It took me like probably 6 months before I figured out how to get a girl to like call me back or something.
Right.
But you know, I was excited to get in the scene. I can't remember the question that started this.
What's fine? That's conversation. That's how it works.
Conversation.
Cool. Yeah, it just goes. We're conversing. So this club, I don't know which club it was. What was it? So amazing? Was it like, oh my God, all this beautiful women? Or?
Oh yes, I couldn't believe it. So well, that was the thing when I was in Boston, I was bored. I would want to go home, and
Market Square not doing it for you? No.
What's that?
Like the Boston nightlife, you did the lobster bowls and the...
I didn't, and you know, in Boston, you say you sell sex toys, people, you get two reactions. One is...
Yeah, I have it, yeah.
You sell sex toys, it'd be like, oh my God, this guy, oh come on, you got to talk to this guy. Or it was, oh gross, and walk away, you know.
Right.
And so in Hollywood, people were like, oh cool, you know. Like, oh, that's great. Or just, oh, great, yeah. And so... Or
probably with you, they're like, oh yeah, I go to that site all the time. I use your site.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, cool, you know, and then as far as, you know, with these girls, I was like, you go into the club and there's more girls than guys, whereas in Boston it's the opposite, and it's all these huge guys, you know, and I'm not a big guy, so it's. And
they all like to, I mean, according to all the movies, everyone likes to beat each other up in Boston, right?
Yeah, well, what do? You go to a bar, it's a bunch of guys, and they fight, and it's all about which guy is the biggest and the strongest. And so, yeah, it doesn't play well there. Now I'm in a club, and it's better-looking girls than I've ever seen, and there's more girls than guys, and people are just hanging out. And in Boston, to fight through the guys and talk to some girl who's barely attractive, you got to put on a show. Now it's just some girl sitting next to me. I'm like, how you doing? Good. Right. You know, just talk. You know, so all of a sudden I was having fun and going out and realized that I don't actually have social problems. And
most people in LA are transplants that you found that out to be, or no?
That was when I first moved to LA. That was my my line was, how are you? Good. Yeah, just moved out here. Where are you from? And they're from some other city. How long have you been here? That was my icebreaker. I did that for 6 months. That was my, you know, where are you from? Great.
Yeah.
And no one's from LA, it seems like. There are people from LA, but
they don't go to those clubs.
Most people are not from LA.
They're like, it's too hot, I'll never find a place to park, I don't want to be stuck on the 405, it's not worth it. No.
The traffic is bad, but the parking actually is not. Every place has valet. I
was going based on what I've heard from all my people that are out there. And
a
lot of New Yorkers out there. A lot of New Yorkers, a lot of Jews come out there to make it out there. I mean,
yeah, well,
I want to come out there, but I don't know. We'll see. I love New York. I mean, I grew up here, and I mean, you lived here for a little bit, right?
I did live in New York for 1 year.
And it was.
And I want to live in New York. It's the greatest city in the world. I just thought it was the most amazing thing, and I loved it. And I left, and then I was like, I'll come back, and now I can barely go for a weekend. I mean, I'm over it.
Yeah, you're over it. That's fine.
Yeah, I like LA. I got you get a house instead of a small apartment. I got a pool. You can go to the beach, and I like it's a little crazier, less conservative. So I like LA.
You think New York is more conservative than LA?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, one of the good things about New York, you have people actually have real jobs and like do stuff. I mean, don't they? I have to believe. Maybe I'm wrong, but in LA,
you'd be surprised though. You'd be surprised. I think this is a country, a worldwide thing. People just kind of like, you look around, you're like, well, how could it be like Wednesday at 3 o'clock and there could be so many people? Just hanging out.
They don't do that there either. But in LA, it's the porn capital, and it's
and it's right by Vegas.
I think it's crazier here than elsewhere. But I don't know. I don't know the New York scene. But now my wife and I, we're gonna start traveling more. I want to spend some months in Miami, like Miami Beach. We're gonna be in Europe for a month this summer, and so I'm a little more of a not just, I was in Hollywood, that was my thing, and that's my scene, and when I left here, I didn't have anything. But now that I'm married, we have fun together, so we're traveling around the world.
And now that she's, congratulations, she's pregnant, my brother just had a baby, you guys want to travel as much as you can, because once that baby comes, there won't be...
Everybody says that, but the thing is, we're not going to just go, we're not traveling to some city to walk around and take a bus tour. We're going to go and, live somewhere for a month.
Oh,
cool. Live, rent a house. This summer we're going to be in Montenegro. We rented a house by the sea next to Maya's mother, for a month. So We want to be in next March with the baby. We want to live at Miami Beach for a month.
Cool.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just saying this because I haven't had the kid yet, and we think it's easy. But
I don't know what also you might have someone, you might hire someone to be around with you, like a nurse, or I don't know. You could afford to do things like that.
We'll see what happens, but we both are excited about the idea of kind of living in different places for periods of time.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm sure it's great. You've traveled all over the world probably by now, or?
Yeah, well, when I was, but the last several years before I got married, I didn't want to go anywhere because I was like, I was SexToy Dave in Hollywood, and everybody knew me, and I was like, girls were all over me, and I was single. But before Hollywood, I did in a summer, after college, I traveled Europe, went to 9 countries in 9 weeks or something. I lived in Japan for a year and traveled around a little. So I've been around. But the traveling thing, I didn't do that much in the last several years, so kind of getting back to that. And as long as I can do Hangouts from wherever I am, I'm happy.
Yeah, you're all about the Hangouts. I was just checking out some of the comments, people watching. But, yeah, the Hangouts are crazy. That we can literally broadcast. You can broadcast from anywhere, go anywhere, do anything, especially on air, YouTube, and Plus. And, it's something that no one else has, and the ability to reach so many people and do anything on the space. I've interviewed artists, musicians, techies. You're the first sex guy I've had, so you got the in on all the other sex guys.
And I was just thinking that there's so many new businesses that I think are going to pop up around this. Like I was thinking, if I had a comedy club, you should have a camera set up connected to your thing and have broadcast the show live every night on YouTube, and then offer each comedian for a couple bucks. We'll put a video of you up on YouTube, just your own video that you can share. Like, it doesn't cost anything other than, you got to get a camera and a computer to sit there, but that's not a huge investment. And
the only thing is the Wi-Fi. We've done a couple of concerts. We've had on-air concerts. In February, we did a bunch. We had this event. We organized 3 people that do Hangout musicians, that are Hangout musicians: Starry Musk, Heather Faye, Ryan Van Sickle. We got together in New York in a club. We had people flying in from all over that met each other in Hangouts, and they did a concert. We did a photo walk, a whole thing in February, which is pretty cool. And the only thing is, the on-air thing is it's the quality, getting the quality to improve, and the sound, especially if it's music. And for stand-up, I would imagine too, because the guy's on the mic, and wherever the computer is to broadcast him, there's different issues.
Right. Yeah, it's a little early. It's an exciting technology, but I guess it only came out 2 weeks ago already.
And you do stand-ups. You've done some stand-up comedy. You're kind of like a prop comic, I guess I would say, with the SexToys.
Yeah. Well, I always have to have some sort of media thing going on. When I started on the internet for 2 years, I wrote an essay every week for 2 years, which was technically blogging before they called it blogging. And then I had an internet radio show. Then I had a cable access show. Then I had my streak of getting on TV shows. Then recently I was doing comedy for about a year or 2. I've been doing it. I get a decent act for 10 minutes. I'm not bad. Comedy is one of the hardest things. It's really fun. I'm not bad, and I learned a lot, but now I'm pouring all my creative energies into doing Hangout shows. I want to do shows.
And it's something you can do from home, or you can even go out and do it. And all your friends and all your business associates, they can all log right in from their home, their office.
Yeah, I just think I have so many, customers, affiliates, people we work with, partners, who have a lot of questions about topics that I'm going to just do group conversations about a specific topic, and then take that video and put it on our site and give it to these people who are interested. And I have a captive audience who wants to know. We just did a video on how to use data feeds on our wholesale website, which is very technical and probably boring for most people, but we have a bunch of people who actually care about that and will watch it. So it's good customer service, and it's good. It's early in this YouTube stage here to put a video up and get hundreds of views a day is a lot. And we have, especially when next week we're going to do going to have the manufacturer, my product manager, one of my VP service and sales, me. We've got a group of people, and we're going to talk about a product for 5 or 10 minutes. Then we're going to put it on our product page. You know, so I've got thousands of people a day looking at this product, and now we're going to have a video up there with 5 people who've talked about it intelligently.
Now, I would say obviously people are going to expect a demonstration maybe when they hit play. You know,
well, people are actually. People are looking for information. They're buying. You know, this is, in fact, what you said is so commonly thought, because I've had problems in the past where I want to get video of a toy. And so I get a video guy, and first time I did this, I just found a video person and, you know, sent him the toy. And I said, I just want information about the video. I wrote out the script, everything. I get the video, and what is it? It's some girl like, oh, this makes me horny. Oh, I want to.
That's what we want to see, Dave.
Yeah, they don't. People are at the store. They want to know how to put the battery in.
What?
Well, believe it or not, we have certain products. We get tons of questions because they can't figure out how to put the goddamn.
That is the case. I can't. It's an underneath the ball set.
Yeah. Well, some of these things they don't come with instructions. People want to know how big it is. They want to know what it smells like. All
right, so let's talk about some of that. You have all these sex toys. You have all these adult products. So what do they do? It's a neutral smell, or what are these?
Well, it depends what kind of rubber we're talking about. The newer rubber items are a high quality, sometimes with a flavored scent, and very nice. If you find some of these manufacturers have been around for 30 years, and they have the old mold and the old rubber. Trying to get rid of these things, but you know, I've seen these dildos. You take it out of the package, it smells like you just bumped into a gas truck filled on the highway. I mean,
sorry, Grandma. What?
Yeah, I mean.
Do you have? Are there any like company names like of some of these older mom and pop dildo type things that are funny, or you can't say them out loud? Are there any like funny sounding names, or like you can't believe like Marty Morkenstein or someone that has like a dildo factory, or like what? Like what? No?
I don't know if you consider funny as a funny name. I mean, it's actually one of the most common things I have when I ever bring someone to a convention or something. They're like, you know, it's just normal people who have a business. You know, we're dealing with inventory and manufacturing issues and.
But I'm saying, like, are there sex toy shops, things that have been passed down from generation to generation? Like,
well, you know, historically, it's a relatively new industry. I mean, in the 80s, there were like probably 1,000 toys. Now there's 1 million toys. I mean, there's so many. It's really grown. But, you know, Doc Johnson is one of the biggest companies. The owner, Ron Braverman, he started way back in the day. He claims that he invented the term butt plug, which was probably true. I actually met him because he thought he invented the word sex toy. And I had sextoy.com, and I got some lawsuit. And then I said, listen, I'm in the industry, I'm selling your stuff, and we became good friends, and he dropped the lawsuit.
I'm guessing he's doing okay.
Yes, they do a lot of the moldings. They do, you know, the Jenna Jameson vagina and the
so know, do they use your sex toys in pornos then? Do you have deals and things like that come up?
I don't do much. A lot of that they get that kind of for free. What we do, we have one of the biggest. It's probably us and Amazon have the biggest database of adult products. We carry everything, and so we work. Our computer is connected directly into manufacturers and distributors for products all over the country. So I'm not really manufacturing. I'm just facilitating the delivery at a low cost and giving you a website that allows you to find all this stuff. So what was your question? As far as so a lot of times those porno things, it's kind of the manufacturer will kind of do it as a promotional thing. For us, I don't know. I mean, I could do it, but honestly, I don't see a lot of conversion. For us, we convert for people who are on the web. I mean, the best, of course, is, you know, on Google, if they type in the word sex toys and they click and come to sextoy.com, that's a good conversion rate. But somebody who sees some toy that we sell on a video that they got because they want to watch some couple have a threesome is not a good conversion rate. So
no, I hear you.
I don't do a
So
lot
what?
of that.
So what would be? What are some of the most unique? I know you maybe might have a toy nearby you right now, but what are
Yes,
some of
I
the
told
most
you
unique?
I'm doing some videos this week, a Google Hangout explaining some toys, and one of the ones we're going to do is it's called the Accommodator.
Uh-oh.
Now, what it is a dildo.
Of course it is. Wait, hold that up. Take a picture.
It straps to your chin. It's a brilliant item. Now, let's with the risk of totally destroying my reputation.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure that my reputation is anything to worry about. But,
well, I think people know
you're
married. They know you're into only one person, and whether you use sex toys or not, I don't know, but you sell them. So.
Nevertheless, for the sake of entertainment and improving the ratings on your show, I'm going to put the Accommodator on my head.
Accommodate us, yes, please,
Yeah.
Dave Levine. And
hold on. Now, so you could put it on the forehead like this.
Right. Now you look like a doctor, a cock doctor.
Let me take a look here.
Cocky doctor.
Okay, so let's see how this goes here.
I am taking pictures every time you move it. What? So is it now? Do they come in different colors? Literally, is it supposed to?
This one is beige and black only. All right, here we go.
Wait, hold on.
See now?
Okay.
I can really do some oral sex, right?
All right. So explain. So is the idea that the idea?
Thank you very much. Hold on. Now my
I'll give you the clap.
earphones are tangled.
So you're like, I can't hear you. That's okay. The Accommodator. Dave Levine. We're this Hangout Conversations. Dave is showing us the Accommodator, accommodating people's pleasure. And he's got the headphone back on.
You know, I've got a couple. If you want, I could grab a couple other things. I didn't.
Sure, yeah, but I was going to say, if you want to grab a couple, then I'll ask you some questions about the Accommodator.
Okay.
Yeah, take your time. Hangout Conversations. We got Dave Levine showing us the sex toys, the dildos, the vibrators, the Accommodators. Paulie 10th is watching, Cliff Roth, and a bunch of you out there as well. Any questions you might have, feel free to put them out there. Justin Ormond, Derek Ross, Vicente Fernandez, hello. Welcome. I was going to say, do a little...
All right.
His return. So wait, before you show us the next one, welcome back. So the Accommodator, okay, let me just pretend like I know absolutely nothing, but the Accommodator...
Pretending.
Yeah, so the idea is you wear it on your head and it enters holes. Is that?
Yeah, well, okay, so it's here, right?
Uh-huh.
And you're giving oral sex, and you can use your tongue. So this is inside. And
I see what you're saying. So you're saying if a guy wears that, you could be giving both clitoris and vaginal stimulation at the same time simultaneously.
Yes.
That way the woman is satisfied and it's not just getting vaginal or like she's used to. What? I said that.
Yes, and this is an item that's been around actually since I started probably like 20 years. This thing, it's kind of funny.
Is there an item that does vaginal and clitoris? The guy can just like sit there and like pretend like he's like getting her all the way, and then be like that way he doesn't have to go down every day. What? Not that I.
Yeah, well, of course that's what the rabbit is. Have you heard of the rabbit? It's one of the most famous toys. I should have grabbed that.
And not everybody likes. A lot of women. Not everyone likes dildos. There's dildos and some like just like rabbits.
Right. So a rabbit has this kind of shape. So you got the in and it rotates, and this for the outside vibrates. Then there's tons that just vibrate on the outside. And then there's ones that vibrate on the outside.
Is that a common complaint? Is that a common complaint that women think that dildos don't really feel like penises because they're not penis? You know.
Again, we have ones that are made to resemble a real penis to the point that it does feel. I mean,
does it heat up? Is there like a temperature?
There's heat up. There's cool down. We have. I mean, I got 35,000 unique items. Everything you've thought of, I have in 5 colors.
Oh, great.
And I have plenty of things you've never thought of.
Please tell. I'm sure.
If I tell you, you'll wish you never thought of it.
Well, I have questions for you, but please tell me you brought a vagina so we can even the playing field.
Well, next I want to show you something you might maybe never have thought of. I don't know if you know what this is.
That is something that looks like it should not go anywhere.
We sell a lot of these after the Kentucky Derby.
Wow, because women have a horse.
It's a horse cock.
Yeah, I know. I got that.
Figured that out?
Yeah, I did, but I am. Wait, no. I want you to go back to it. Is that a novelty item, or is that really supposed to pleasure someone?
Listen.
Come on.
Who buys it? And
I
why?
don't
I have
even
no
know.
idea. Well, the thing
It looks
actually,
like you could serve pepper out of that thing.
actually, we sell a lot of giant dildos. You know, for one thing, they're they're a little more expensive.
Gifts, right?
They're a little more expensive and they're nichey, so a lot of sites don't have as much as we have. Plus, it's a little crazy, so that's kind of one of our niches where we have.
But do you find like a lot of people buy them as gag gifts, as a joke? No one's ever supposed to really.
You know,
use
it's one
them,
of these things that I can't ever tell you that I really know what the hell's going on. But we sell so many that I don't think it's just a gag. I think that there are people. You know, it might be. You know, women have had a lot of kids. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. But
and how the one you're showing me right now, just so people know, how many inches or feet is that? It's not a foot. What is that?
I mean, this is this one. I don't know.
Does it vibrate too?
No, this is just a big chunk of rubber.
Oh my God!
It's a big chunk of rubber.
You can't even get your whole hand around that thing.
Does this thing make me gay to hold this thing?
No, gay. You suck.
I guess it's not gay. I mean,
oh, that's so you must have. So you can't really. A gay audience versus a straight audience versus a bi audience. I mean, there's no way for you to really tell, right? Or you have.
You mean on the website or
website?
I mean, yeah, sextoy.com. We're trying to have everything for everybody. You know, we have the gay and the lesbian. We do have an affiliate program, which allows people to get their own store and customize, and then people make their own sites and brand them. People take our existing database and just kind of design a site that's tailored toward gay or tailored toward bondage or tailored toward whatever niche they want to focus on. Where I'm kind of just, we have everything sort of thing.
What is your number one seller? Is it some kind of vibrator or?
Yeah, I just did bring over this thing, which is one that I.
And we'll get into your affiliate program a little bit later.
So this thing is just a vibrating bullet.
Okay, and it's named after you, right?
This is the one that I private label. This bullet here is an old bullet that you can find in other packaging. I just took this thing private labeled, put my name on it, buy a lot of them so we get it at a good price.
It wasn't measured after your own, was it?
It's a bullet.
No, but isn't it? Because I said Millionaire. Wasn't it like Millionaire Matchmaker, SexToy Dave's bullet? Wasn't that the magic bullet? Or maybe I'm.
Yeah, this is the one. It's the sextoy.com vibrating bullet, and it's the only item that we private label. And actually, as one of the greatest achievements of mankind occurred recently, we sent the first vibrator into space.
I have it on your dossier, yes.
Yes, this vibrator here went into space. And the funny thing is, I was always thinking of making a commercial with this thing because this vibrator it's a very basic toy, and it's been around for a long time. And like literally, I say I should do a commercial where I take this thing and it's on, and say this thing is indestructible, and drop it on the ground, and you see it still vibrating. Because it's funny, the thing never breaks. And so then when they had this kid contacted me about putting stuff into space, I said,
now how does that happen?
To go into space and come down, and it'll still be working.
How do you get a phone call from NASA? Or
no, please.
What?
It was some college kid. Some college kid trying to make a buck. I mean,
how did he get your vibrator into space?
They got this giant, like 12-foot helium balloon that's made of I don't know, and they got GPS tracking and a phone, and they set it up with the camera and all this stuff, and they send the thing up into space. I mean, they just set the balloon up, and it goes up on a clear day. It just keeps going up until the balloon explodes, and then it falls down and crashes in somewhere. And I was just like, what are the odds that the thing lands on somebody's head? You know what I mean? Like, they're just taking that risk. I mean, they're out in the middle of nowhere in the Midwest, and it lands in a cornfield every time. But I was like, my luck, this thing's gonna land on someone's head. SexToy Dave.
Death by vibrator.
Death by vibrator. I mean, probably be good press, but I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Maybe not. So what do you think of all these? I mean, I guess anal sex is the biggest question people ask you about it. I'm sure you have anal plug plugs.
I don't know if that's the biggest.
No. Well, I mean, I'm not talking about what they buy. I'm talking about anal sex is taboo, and anyone that's even thought about it, the work involved, the lube for the area and all that stuff, I mean, you sell a lot of anal. Are there any anal products that are like you can't believe exist? Some of those products?
Yeah, talk about giant. You got these giant
But
anal things. I don't
can you
know.
actually? Are there like because there's blow-up dolls, but and there's like what rubber vaginas that vibrate? But are there like asses too? Like you can buy?
Oh
Or?
yeah, there's everything. There's a
Oh,
vagina and an anus, and there's and the guy
mouth.
ones with the whole thing with the guy penis and the whole butt too with the guy butt.
So
You
let me ask
know.
you: have you now? Can I ask you if you've used some of these toys in your just ever? Like you've tried them ever in your life, or
I've had my moments. I have this one
curiosity?
story of a true story when when I first was doing this business back in Boston in the 90s, and one of my things was, they have all these blow-up dolls, but all we had was the product box cover, which would show some model. I'm like, what does the doll actually look like? I'm like, I want to get these dolls, blow the thing up, take pictures, and put it on the internet, which I did, and it was. I don't even know if it helped sales, but I thought it was hilarious and whatever. It's something I did. And then I had this one doll it had a rotating tongue and fancy new doll. I blew the thing up, and it was like with a tongue and blowjob something. And so I took some pictures, and then I was like, well, the big feature of this doll is this blowjob.
Right.
So I should take a picture of like a dildo in the doll's mouth. So so I took some dildo, and I couldn't get it in. And I was like, why?
It was only made for small penises.
It's made for that. Why? So I'm like, well, maybe because it's a rubber dildo. And then so now I'm lubing up a dildo.
Wow.
And just trying to stick it into this doll's mouth. I mean, I'm like, what does my job come to? And then the worst part
Did you
about
put your finger in her mouth to see what it was like, or?
So the worst part about it, as I'm trying to put this dildo, it's like it's actually started turning me on. I'm trying to smash something into this doll's mouth. And from there, to make a long story short, I did things that.
Well, but that's what you sell. Yeah, but that's your product. You're selling them. Might as well know why people are buying them.
My fetish is profits, not sex toys.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. So, anyways, and some of these, the vagina things, I've tried a couple times, and it's. I mean, honestly, I'm not into not that into toys. I'm more like if somebody's into something, hey, great,
right.
But I never really had a fetish about it.
I'm all for you making profit, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but
yeah.
When a guy, guys, you know about girls and vibrators and those toys, but when a guy thinks about a fake vagina, it thinks about if I have a choice between just masturbating or a fake vagina, it seems to me like a fake vagina would be a lot of work. And the kind of pleasure.
Well, why do you say a lot of work? I mean,
well, it's not. I mean, look, when you don't use a fake. Look. Oh wow, we lost. I'm sorry, I talked about masturbation. Dude, please forgive me. They're all they're leaving. Oh, they're going back up. All right, I apologize. The numbers. But it's just the idea that you don't. It's not like mom's like, oh, you're 13 today. Here's a vagina for you to use. It's like. You masturbate, and
in other words, you can masturbate. You don't need this stuff. So what's the point?
Right, and then I get it for women.
Well, for guys, there could be. I mean, it's kind of like, it's all about.
How do you have sex? Okay, so
it's about the fantasy. I mean, isn't it easier to fantasize if you're actually using something that looks like, and you don't have to use your hand, and then you can kind of pretend that it's a real vagina.
Okay, but this the vagina, so it's, forget about blow-up dolls. It's it looks like a vagina, and I guess you're either lying down and you put it on you, or the other way around and you grind it. I don't know, or what you do to it, but because I've never seen it up close. Is it moist? Is that the idea? What?
Yeah, again, there's so many different kinds. They have these little tight ones, that you put some lube in, and it's just, instead of your hand, it's some sort of smooth, soft material that has little ribs in it. Then there's ones that look like a real vagina, and it's big, and you put it down, and it's a big heavy thing, and you just get on it like you get on a woman. And there's ones that, that one of the most popular male sex toys is this, the flashlight, they call it. It's in a flashlight, so it looks discreet. So it's just oh, there's a flashlight. But actually, you unscrew the top of the flashlight, and there's this this vagina.
This is doing wonders for my reputation, by the way. I can tell you.
Am I ruining your reputation?
Yeah, no.
All that you have built.
All that I have built! No, but it's like, people are like, why are you talking about such things? No, I don't care, whatever. I have Jane Ellen talking in a bubble bath.
Hey, you know what? Have you heard of this, about this 50 Shades of Grey book?
Yeah, Gilbert Gottfried did a funny thing with it. And
well, it's really, like, it's crazy. A lot of, like, housewives from around the country, like older women, are so turned on by this book. And it's like,
abusive,
essentially,
right?
It's like, well, it's one of these BDSM, S&M kind of fantasy thing. And it kind of mainstreams.
What's the BD? What is the BD?
Bondage and discipline.
Bondage. Okay.
The guy wants to dominate. Having a submissive. In other words, so I'm going to tell you what to do, and you can't touch me, but I'm going to smack your butt or whatever. I don't know. I don't really totally get it, but a lot of women now are so turned on by this book, and I'm talking older conservative women, that I think it's kind of a new phenomenon. It's still growing. Like, you're
like, I know what to get Grandma for her birthday.
You'd be surprised. They're all like, so I think that the line of what is acceptable.
Well, they're making a movie out of it, so that'll be, I don't know how they're going to do that.
So the line of what's acceptable has been moving pretty steadily, and this book, I think, just makes it another leap forward. It's only just started, so like, the funny thing is now, you may have some viewers, some techie guys who are thinking, this is inappropriate, and little do they know their mother already would be excited about it, because
everyone goes Circle Dave.
They're less conservative now. It's bizarre.
That is crazy. So not to kill it, but so just because I'm still curious. So then these vaginas, you're done. You finish. It comes out. So now, literally, you've just made a mess of your quote-unquote sex toy, right? Is there some kind of, like, 3 seashells from Demolition Man? Is there a cleaning system? Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah. There are cleaning things, and there's certain things that, some dildos or some things you can actually put in the dishwasher.
Oh,
some you can't. And you can clean it. I've had a few instances where these things have crossed my path.
You know what I love? I love my dirty dishes being cleaned with soap, detergent, and semen. That's what I love.
Yeah, I don't advise putting it in with your fine china. But there's ways to clean it. But personally, anytime I've encountered one of these toys, I just couldn't bear to keep it afterward, so I threw it away.
Right.
And again, for guys, our main products actually are is not as much with this sort of stuff. It's the self-improvement. It's how to be bigger and stronger and harder and last longer. And guys want to get better.
Women. Words.
What's that?
You know, say you're like stronger and bigger and harder. Yeah.
Guys want to get better, whereas women want to have an orgasm. We do sell a lot of that stuff to guys, but actually, it's male enhancement is the bigger thing for guys.
Yeah, male enhancement. So that whole thing about size. So, can you tell us what the best-selling size is, or no?
You mean for dildos?
For dildo, because. Women always talk about size, and they talk about how many inches they want or don't want, or bigger is better.
Actually, it's 6 to 8 inches.
And popular. And what's after 6 to 8?
And they say 6 is the average size for real people, so I think girls do like bigger, because the average is 6 to 8 that we sell, and whereas
that's your best selling, 6 to 8.
Yeah, and since 6 is average, the average we sell is bigger than average, and then we do have a decent-sized category of much bigger than average. So I would have to say that women probably do like big. We do have some really small ones, and we sell them, but it's not as big, not as popular.
Right. Well, of course, they're not necessarily looking for everybody has a different body with different needs and different whatever. But so your second category would be what? 8 to 10 would be the next best selling after 6 to 8.
Yeah, I'd say.
See, you're selling shoes. This is like selling shoes, right?
Yeah, it's just sizes, and it's just inventory. It's all the same thing. Some people have big feet, and some people want big dildos.
I guess. Yeah. Wow. 6 to 8, 8 to 10. And,
most of what we sell is vibrators and dildos, are our bread and butter. That's where I make my living.
They butter everything. That's for sure. They butter it all. What? So do you sell edible toys? I've always been interested in those. Edible panties, all that stuff. What's that business? What's that like? And does any of it taste decent? I mean, like what?
We do have, like I said, we have everything. The novelty gag category. There's a lot of stuff. A lot of it's inexpensive. We make money. We got it, but it's.
Do you have like gourmet edible? Are there gourmet versions?
No, honestly, a lot of this stuff now is not. I haven't looked in our edible category that recently, but edible panties, it's like a very bad version of like those fruit roll-ups. It's like, I wouldn't just eat it for dinner, but if it's on a grill,
listen. I'm not saying you need to eat it for dinner, but I'm saying a product could be made where it could be eaten on its own. It's that good, right? Don't you think that they should go in that direction, or? Well,
remember it's clothing. So the idea with the edible is that you're wearing it. It's like it's very dried out, so to speak. Like some sort of edible material, and then when it gets if someone's wearing it and they get all sweaty, it might just melt on them. But if you have some sort of I don't know. Maybe you're stumbling on a real business idea. Someone should invest a lot of money into organic, natural, good-tasting panties.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, don't you think? Look, I get the idea of putting it on, but if you're lying down, you could like just make like a top or just make like a bottom instead of making the whole thing and kind of just put it over it, right? Do you have to like? There's something to that, isn't there?
This is why we come out with new products all the time. Everyone's got a brilliant idea, and it's funny. That idea might be the worst idea ever, and no one's going to buy it. But on the other hand, you never know. Things sell. And
you think about the whipped cream bikini, right? And the Varsity Blues, and everyone loves the whipped cream bikini, or at least in idea. I don't know.
Yeah, and edible. Yeah, we don't sell a ton. There's like edible chocolate things, but you can't ship. There's a lot of edible stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't go. Flavored condoms, maybe?
We have that.
We sell those.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. And what about, fetishes? Like, I saw a little bit, you had some on-demand stuff. Do you show some of that, or?
Oh, you mean video? We have the whole fetish category, which, like I said, because of this 50 Shades of Grey book, fetish is kind of having just started.
Or the internet. They talk about midget porn and bestiality.
Okay, that's our video site. We have you can buy minutes to watch on a site there's like 100,000 videos, and of every category of everything you could ever want to see. We send people. I don't run the video site, but we do send people over there who want that. I've always wanted to be the king of toys, and we have some video because it's kind of a natural. Kind of upsell, so to speak. But most of what we do. Oh, did you lose me, Mike?
No, I'm listening. I'm still here. No,
most of what we do is the toys, and so you got your vibrators and dildos, and you got toys for men. Then you get your anal. Then you got lubes and lotions. And also a lot of what we do too is the business opportunities. That's how I started, really. I used to not even do my own retail. All I was doing was create an affiliate program to help other people get a store and had wholesale site to sell to people at wholesale so that other people could go out and sell toys.
Yeah. No, toys in the affiliates, that makes sense. We have a lot of viewers. Shell Bell's like the It's Like Butter. She enjoys that. And we actually have some viewers over on the F book. Debbie Spezazenta Brown is watching, Michelle Granholm. And so and there are a lot of different comments. They're watching. She's actually watching it on her phone. And we're cracking her up, so that's cool. She's in need of a massage and a sex toy. All right, Debbie. Well, we could see what we can do for you.
Yeah, maybe you could be my upsell. We buy a vibrator from us, you get a free massage from Matt. Yeah.
Right, there it is. I can't pay for your trip to New York, but you can get here. And you can show, and then we'll have a live conversations, and we'll show them the toy, and then the massage, and then you'll probably get a divorce, and I'll get blamed for it. I don't know why. That's weird. I don't know if she's married. I don't know this, but anyway, what else? So the whole two girls, one cup thing, like that whole phenomenon, those kinds of things. Yeah, but it exists, right? And there are people that seem to like. I don't know who likes it, but the golden showers and the
Yeah, I mean, I don't, like, I was like a normal person who ended up in this business. I don't understand it. I don't, especially when you start getting into fetish video.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I mean, I don't know. And that 2-girl, 1-cup thing, I couldn't watch it. I don't
most
know.
people couldn't. They cringed. Like, I think people like things they've never seen before, things that are different. And I don't think people want to continuously watch that. But I think the idea is like, and honestly, let's not get descriptive with it. But still, it's like.
Yeah, that's why. Well, I'm very into expand your horizons, be open. Be open-minded, and that's why I had no problem getting into this business because, I mean, these are just products created to enhance someone's sex life, and there's nothing wrong with that. And, like I said, I wasn't all like, oh, I want to use sex toys. It was just, but I don't know, people are paying good money for these things. It's hard to find them elsewhere, and what's wrong with it? And it's sometimes, too, not only is nothing wrong with it, but there's something good about doing something different, learning something new, mixing it up a little, so.
And so you did, so jump over, you mentioned you did Joan Rivers' show. I actually just saw Joan Rivers, and she did a thing here in New York with Brad Garrett, another guy that lost his pants in a divorce, and so he's on the road trying to make money, and she's still got it at 78. So what was it like? She interviewed you, right, for a segment, or? Yeah,
she had a show, How'd You Get So Rich?
How'd you get so rich? Yeah.
Yeah, she'd be like, oh my God, and then so.
Sex toys, I can't, yeah.
Yeah, it was a little set up because I was at a cafe with a couple friends, and she came up to me. Oh no, I was there with 2 girls, 2 good-looking girls.
Okay.
And back in my single days, on Rodeo Drive, and she's like, oh, look at you, you look really rich with 2 girls. What do you do? And I'm like, I sell sex toys. And she, made some jokes. She was like, oh, the last person was selling earplugs, and this guy's selling sex toys. I can't remember. She made some joke that was funny. Anyways, she just was coming up. She's actually pretty funny. She was on the fly just making stuff up, and they filmed me for a few minutes, and it was another minute of fame for me. So.
Oh, so it was one of those things where you just happened a coincidence kind of thing?
No, it was set up, but they made it look on the show as if she was just going down the street, and she saw me and was like, "Oh, let's talk to this guy."
What was it like?
Her show. This was like it was originally for the pilot of the show, and she was, "Hey, let's go to Rodeo Drive. Let's look for rich people and stop them and say, how'd you get so fucking rich?" Oh, originally they wanted to call it, "How'd you get so effing rich?" But they dropped the effing and how'd you get so rich? But anyways, and so that was the thing. She just bumped into me on Rodeo Drive and asked me how I got rich. And then they ended up, and then that was the pilot, and they ended up just sticking it, and they never called me again. And then the show was on, and one day I started getting all these emails or whatever the hell it was, and they put it on TV. I had no idea.
Oh, that's cool. And so is it scary to be that close to
Well, she's cool. I'd seen her.
She's cool, but
I'd seen her for years and on TV, and so yeah, it was good. I take all media opportunities.
All media. What? And so did you? And you were also on Oprah? Is that correct? Or
no? We sell as seen on Oprah is one of our best-selling categories on the website because Oprah had, there's a woman Berman, Anyway, she had someone on her show that has a bunch of sex toys, and she had the toys on the show. As soon as she had them on that show, I mean, they sold out. The entire industry was sold out. You couldn't get these products. And anyways, it was like almost a couple years ago, and we still, as seen on Oprah, is one of the best categories for us. People still, because Oprah put those stuff on TV, they want to buy it. So, unfortunately, I haven't been on Oprah yet, but
no problem. Yeah. No, I was just checking.
But I'll use her name if I can.
Use her name, sure. Why not? It's Oprah. Vibrators for everybody. I made her too. And so what else? And you did so the reality TV. You got into it a little bit, and you must run into maybe reality TV people, and that's a big thing now, and it's cheaper to produce. And you're kind of looking to get into it yourself, or?
Well, you mean? Well, I was.
You did your proposal, which I was going to ask
What was that? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that, my, my wife doesn't even like being on film, but I had this, I was trying to figure out how to propose, and someone said, oh, make sure you take pictures of it. And then I thought, and I was dealing with someone for making a video about something, and then I said, oh, why don't you guys film it, and we'll pretend it's for a pilot. And so we kind of filmed it, but I don't know. So my wife makes fun of me because I videoed our proposal. But anyways, I'm always open to being on TV.
Though.
People say, yeah, she did say yes, surprisingly. Yeah. No, it's all good. So people ask me, oh, do you want to do more reality shows? Do you want to do more TV shows? I'm like, I'll do any show. I don't care. It's just, it's so hard to get on TV. Like, you've no idea. Like, people, it's like, I explain to people, some people sometimes say, oh, yeah, this reality show, I went to a meeting and, I'm going to be on the show. And I was like, you know how you get on a reality show? You go to a meeting, or if you want to, have your own show. I mean, if you go to a casting, even when you go to a casting, most of the time it's absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But, getting your own show means you go to a meeting and it goes great. So you have another meeting and it goes great. And you have another meeting and it goes great. And you have another meeting and it goes great. And after 30 of those, you might be able to get
and then you might get cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I was on that Megan Wants a Millionaire show, I was on the show and one of the contestants committed a murder.
What?
And so they canceled the whole show. Did you hear about that?
No, a murder.
So it's one of those dating shows, the VH1 dating shows. They don't have them on TV anymore because there was so much crap about this. So one of the guys, it was this one girl with 15 guys or whatever, elimination thing. And one of the guys, after he got kicked off, he went to Vegas, met a stripper, married her, had this volatile relationship, and then this is not even on the show, off the show. He killed the girl, put her in a dumpster, whatever. They figured out it was him. He fled to Canada and killed himself. And all this happened as the show was just airing. So they just canceled the whole show. And they can't. So I was episode 4. I was going to be kicked off in episode 4, and it was really a great episode. But I'm not even supposed to talk about it. But
that's fine.
But
you're not watching.
But the thing is, I knew this guy killed her right before my episode. He knew I was going to be on. He could have waited a week. But he didn't care. He didn't care about me. He didn't care. He doesn't care.
He doesn't care about you, SexToy Dave. He said, no, I must kill. We can't joke about it. What?
Yeah, I know, it's horrible.
What are we joking
about? That is a joke. My sincerest... No, it was horrible. The guy is insane. I mean,
it is pretty horrible. Hey, let's do a
it's so ridiculous that you don't even have to...
Yeah, let's do a quick cheat for it. It's a rapid fire. Yeah, so it's this or that. Little Sophie's choice. West Coast or East Coast?
What?
What do you like better? It's kind of Coke or Pepsi. Rapid fire kind of questions. West Coast or East Coast?
West Coast. I mean,
right.
can I non-rapid fire that? Can I non-rapid fire because the East Coast?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, we don't have to rapid fire. Talk about
all my good friends from growing up, my family. It's more down to earth. I really like it. If you consider also Florida, now I go. My parents are down there. I like Miami.
Of course they're there. Both
I got a lot on the East Coast, but on the other hand, but then LA is a whole other thing. If I had to pick one, well, to live, I guess I would say LA, but if I could never go to the East Coast, a lot of my old friends and family are there, so that's not a rapid-fire question. What's your next rapid-fire question?
Oh, that's fine. It doesn't matter. I say rapid-fire, but I ask things that make you talk. But and that leads me before I go to the next one. What does your family, all of them kind of approve of it, and they're all happy for you, or?
Yeah, when I started, and I said, oh, now I was on the internet. They're like, what the hell is the internet? And I said, I'm selling sex toys. My mother was worried she wouldn't be able to brag about me to her friends. And now she's like the most popular one at the community down in Florida because, like I said, between 50 Shades of Grey and older women, they like the vibrators. So now she's sex toy mom. So she's all good with it. And my father, he was worried. He's like, how are you going to make a living on this computer thing? You'd have to sell like 1 million units to make a living. How, and that seemed like a huge number to do through this computer thing. He thought I wasn't going to make a living. That's all he cared about. And I took care of that problem. So yeah, they're cool with it. They we're an open family.
That's good. And so, and and your wife's family and all that, they're all cool with it too, or is that a?
Yeah, I think sometimes people at first, there's certain stories of people heard about me and thought it was crazy, and then people meet me and it's just another business. And also there is a line, there's definitely a line where like sex toys is one thing and video porn is another. And I'm on the toy side, so I'm the vanilla version of the bad
fine
guy.
Line. Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, no.
You're a playboy. You're not hustler, right?
To my face, everybody's very nice.
To my face. And that's something that's something I heard about in LA. That people in LA, like in New York, they don't talk about you behind your back. In LA, they do. But come on, everyone does a little bit of both. I think everywhere, right? But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, LA, people are very phony. I mean, I think that people in general are pretty phony, but out here, it's just shocking sometimes. And people are very friendly, but when I first started going out here, that was something that I liked. I would go to a club and meet some random people, and people are so nice. They'd give me their phone number. Maybe they'd never pick up the phone, but friendly, hey, great, nice to meet you, even if they don't give a crap. But I like that.
They gave me a fake number, what?
But at least they're being nice. I don't know. I liked it. Whereas in Boston, some girl will be like, get the hell out of here. You're annoying me, and it's like she's being honest, but I don't know. I prefer fake nice to honest me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So. I always think about the movie Swingers, right? That really, I think, has a good L.A. You've seen Swingers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how accurate it is, but
I'm trying to remember. I haven't seen.
They go to Vegas, and then you go to different clubs, and they're talking about hitting on women and all that stuff. But so okay, this one might be obvious, and we kind of talked about it. Are there better sex toys for women or men? I guess it's obviously women, though. Do you think?
Yeah, well, it's more like women vibration is almost like a religious experience for women. A lot of women really like that, the vibration, and there's a lot, and also it's more, women appreciate toys more than guys, and so technically you could say sex toys are more for women than guys overall.
But I'm just saying, because men don't really, again, we don't necessarily think about sex toys. We know, and I would say almost every woman has had a vibrator at some point in their life, a high percentage. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but
yeah, I don't know either, but it's pretty common. Whereas it's mostly women, and we it's funny on the internet. There's so many stores. I remember when I first started, I was like, so many stores. It's like Angie's Place, and it's all like a woman's name,
Angelina Jolie, what?
And then it's owned by a guy. Every store, they're trying to be women focused, and it's owned by women, and then it turns out it's just some guy trying to.
Right. Well, that's the marketing. That's the genius. The genius of the marketing, the internet, for sure.
Yeah.
Here's one: yoga or skiing. Absolutely nothing to do with sex toys. Which one do you prefer?
Ooh. Well, I love skiing. Skiing is my favorite, and in a sense, yoga. What is yoga but the coordination of breath, movement, and thought? And when you ski, you can coordinate your breath, movement, and thought. And so for me, launching off a top of a mountain into snow and flying down the hill is a form of yoga. So I bring the two together. But if I could only do one and I had to ski without breathing, I would ski.
You would ski. All right, that's cool. And so because I know on the show, on Patty's, on Millionaire Matchmaker, you talked about yoga a little bit. And then I know that, it said you love skiing. So how did you've always been skiing since Boston?
Yes, since I was 3 years old. I went every weekend. My family, we would go up to the ski mountain every weekend from 3 years old through high school. And so in the winter, if I'm not skiing, I start getting fidgety. In fact, that was one of the things with my wife when I first met her. At one of our first dates, she mentioned how she's been skiing since she was young, and she goes to Aspen. I was like, oh my God, because it's hard to meet, especially if you're in Hollywood and these pretty girls who wear high heels every day. A lot of them just have no athletic ability or interest, and to be in the cold snow is of no interest to them, to a lot of people. And so when I found out my wife loves being in the winter and skiing, I was so excited. And so we love skiing, and you know.
And so what, like Lake Tahoe or?
Well, you know, I'll kind of go anywhere. To me,
mountains.
the greatest mountain in the world, I love Aspen. It is the greatest place to ski, period. But, you know, Utah is awesome, and Tahoe is, you know, there's so many places out west that are just amazing. And then, you know, now I'm in LA, can drive to Mammoth. So we'll see what happens. We're going to figure it out. But we love, you know, maybe get a place in Aspen every winter would be nice.
Cool. I mean, it sounds great. It sounds like you should have some skiing parties, right? I don't know if they have those. Or,
yeah, après ski. You ski and then you go to the après ski bar and you have some appetizers and drinks and then you go to bed at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, so you can wake up early and do it all over again.
Yeah, and you're exhausted from skiing. You know.
Like that. I was thinking about the 80s movies. I was thinking about John Cusack and Better Off Dead. And
oh, yeah, the K-12.
The K-12, the Black Time. Respect, we kind of talked a little bit about this. I don't know. You said they're kind of the same thing, but do you have more respect for porn stars or Hollywood stars? Or kind of...
I don't, respect for what? I don't think that...
For what they do, or...
If someone, I mean, no offense, and you're an actor, I don't...
That's fine.
Yeah, there's some actors, actually, I think are great. Like, I mean, sometimes there's some actors, like, you know, Jack Nicholson and... I don't know, Tom Cruise. There's some people who I actually like, wow, this guy's a really good actor. But still, is that anything compared to, like, Larry Page or Steve Jobs or almost any CEO?
Curing cancer, rocket science, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just because someone's kind of entertaining, I don't. And so porn star, you know, they use that term. If you are in a porn movie and you get $800, you're a porn star.
Wait, did you say $800?
Yeah, that's what they get for the day. I mean, basically, honestly, the whole business, girls who, as long as they're in a good mood and they work a strip joint, they can make almost $800. I mean, most girls make maybe $200 or $300.
No, but I'm saying
but doing porn, it's almost the same amount of money. I was gonna say, being a hooker, being on porno, and doing a stripping for a night, it's almost you make the same amount of money. It's very strange.
That is strange.
But yeah, doing a porno, I mean, I don't know right now, but when I used to be a little, you know, more involved. And when I first moved to LA and I would go out in Hollywood on weekdays to the cool club on a Tuesday. If you go to a hot club in Hollywood on Tuesday, Wednesday, you're like, oh my God, all these girls are so good looking. They're almost, I mean, so many of them are strippers and porn stars. And so I, at one point, and when I first moved to LA, I used to have a dream when I was younger that I would someday meet, you know, or be friends with a stripper. I thought, oh my God, can you imagine if I was friends with a stripper, how cool that would be? And then at one point I was in LA and like and one day I was like, oh my God, all of my friends are strippers, you know. I was really into that whole thing. And so anyway, so I knew I always asked people what they make and what the business is about, and you'd be surprised the porn. You know, if I was a girl getting into stripping or porn, I would do it very differently.
Well, I have to say though, I've only been to Vegas once. I got to go more. I went for my brother's bachelor party. We went to the Spearmint Rhino, and I have to say, it seemed like like not in New York or New Jersey where all the girls, you know, these crappy strip clubs where they just work at the club. Girls were flying in from LA to Vegas, and they come in for a weekend, and they make thousands of dollars to strip. You know, and it's nuts. It's like they're just getting off and they're whatever. It seems like they're just independent contractors, right? Even the waitresses.
Yeah, I mean, when you say independent contractor, I mean, what is your question?
Well, they show up to the club. They kind of they work for themselves. They charge whatever, it was $20.
The club pays them a fee. They have to pay the club a fee to cover. They got to cover like $100, and then everything they make over that is their money. And so yeah, but it's not an easy job. You know, it's a lot of girls, and they first do it. They're like, oh, I want to do it because I think it's going to be fun. And so they go, and they're like, oh, this is going to be fun, and I'm just going to make a little money tonight. And they go, and you know what? They make so much money. You know why? Because you're a guy, and you're like, look at that girl. She's just having fun. I want to be with her. But once it becomes a job, it's not that much fun anymore, and then you don't make as much money, and then you're nervous, and you got to and you don't want to be there. Plus, it is exhausting, I think, for just humans to in a way, they're being phony on an intimate level.
Yeah,
all night long.
It is true. Yeah.
It's exhausting. You can't do it every night of the week. You can only they make $500 one night, but you can only work like 2 nights. Once you work more than even 3 nights a week, it's there's a lot of issues with it. It's a tough business. Yeah,
but I would say that's what's interesting. Somewhere in New Jersey or New York, on the East Coast, it's there's no intimate. It's I'm taking my clothes off, I'm dancing. But then you go to Vegas and they're talking to you, and they're on a date with you, but then they start this whole talking thing, and then they kind of and then there are some girls that just seem to want to strip, and then there are ones that and they all are different, and then I'm not in New York in the strip clubs here. If you touch the girl, you're dead. But there were in Vegas, the nipples in your mouth, your hands are on their ass. It's a weird.
Okay. Well, every club has its own rules.
Right.
I mean, there are some clubs that are doing who knows what, and then other ones are very strict, and then every girl has her own lines of what is acceptable to her and what she's doing. Some girls strip, and they're just looking for somebody they're gonna pay to go home with them at night.
Maybe,
some would never do that. Some don't.
Well, I wonder.
Strippers, all they do is have a sugar daddy, right? Some girls who are there's just so many different variations on the whole.
And they are still human. Body. They are still human, right? And they could still be attracted to these guys. It depends. I don't know if they shut that off.
Honestly, it's very. I think because, and I'm not a woman doing this, so I don't. But my guess is it's difficult mentally, and so they kind of put you in a category right from the beginning of this is a customer, or this is a guy. Although on the other hand, I have seen guys make that transition. Who they go into a club a lot, and they were the customer, and then they ended up, literally marrying or dating this girl. But at the same time, what the problem also with that stripping is it can overcome the woman's personality, and she becomes just obsessed with how much judging a guy by how much things he buys her or how much money he gives her. And they can't get that out of their head, or having this
psychologically it screws them up. You're saying
having an emotional wall all the time. They start to you become
confused.
Confused. Yeah, and you forget what the real world's like.
So what about any other a lot of celebrities? Have you come into contact with celebrities in the streets and parties and any?
Yeah, when I threw my parties, I used to have celebrities coming. I've had.
Are there any that you consider your friend that you can chat with, or
no? No, I used to tell the door guy, if anybody comes to the door and they say they're my friend, do not let them in, because anybody who's my friend is not going. And you know what? Is anybody my friend?
Charlie Sheen, come on! He was just.
When I was having a party every Saturday, MySpace was big, and they had the top 8 friends. I don't know if you remember that.
Cook.
I was in everybody's top 8.
Nice.
As soon as I stopped having parties, who is that?
You do know Tom Anderson. Tom of MySpace is big on Plus, right?
Oh yeah. And I'm actually you could say friends with Tom Anderson, because I've hung out with him. He's a cool guy. We chat.
He doesn't look like his picture anymore, I'm guessing. He doesn't look like the way.
You mean that.
Whatever it was, yeah.
But so is anybody?
Larry Page doesn't either. So it's Larry Page has this kid picture, and you see him talk. He's got the gray hair. And sorry, Larry, you look a little bit like the Bolt, a little Revenge of the Nerds style going on. I don't know what the deal is with that, but hopefully the Google glasses. I'm gonna get those now that I said that. He'll mail me a pair tomorrow.
One of my good celebrity stories was I had my party. The rules I had for my parties was. Guys could only come in with a girl if they had a girl, or if 2 guys showed up, they had to have at least 2 girls. And it wasn't just because I want to fill the house with girls. It's I didn't want single guys trolling. I had a door guy, and I said, "There's no list. Just if a guy, and it's not even 2 guys walking down the street and 2 girls walking. Okay, all 4. They have to be together." Or the girl, we would ask the girl. Sometimes the guys would go, "Oh, I'm with these girls." I'd ask the girl, "Are you with these guys?" If you said yes, then it's fine. That was my policy. And anyways, someone came to me and said, oh, there's 5 guys outside, but one of them's the
They're all
Rock.
celebrities.
No, one of them, it was the Rock. I go, nice. I'm like, really? So I go look outside, and I'm like, I look at him, I'm thinking, and I'm so, I know Hollywood is got probably a Rock impersonator, So right. Like, do the eyebrow thing, and he,
You made him do the eyebrow?
He did and then he comes in, and he's with 4 other, or whatever it is, big dudes, and I have these little parties, it's cool, it's like, got a scene going. I don't want 5 huge guys all of a sudden,
well, the Rock is going to take all your women.
Standing next to the stripper pole. I don't mind the Rock. But so I'm just being careful here. So, and then I was like, maybe this isn't him, because I'm not sure, So I said, you know what? I'm just concerned. I want to make sure it's you. Can you do can you smell what the Rock is cooking thing? And he
I wish you had this on video.
He looks at me like literally like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah. And he stands there, and this is right in front of my door, and he does looks up at the sky, and he goes, can you? And I was like, stop!
Don't say it.
Just the can you was so loud, you could probably have heard it all through the canyon here. I mean, it was like, I was like, well, you're definitely the Rock.
But he was a good sport that he did that, and yeah.
It's like anybody else. He wants to get into a party. It's not his house, right. And so people, I had
but he was nice. Did he talk to you, or he was more interested in the girls?
Both. He did talk to me, but he was more interested in the girls. And then, the other thing that's funny, too, I would have parties, and people would I think people want to, sound cool and be like, hey, a friend of mine's coming. Is it okay if Chris Rock comes to your party? yeah, I think it's okay,
So what was that
like? He came, and it was a little weird. He might have been having a bad day. He was, kind of shy, and he was standing there, and he looked confused, and then he went downstairs, and the girls he came with, he was trying to make moves on them, and I don't know. Listen, most of the celebrities come to my house, try to pick up girls,
and then I talk to you,
do some drugs, and they leave. I mean, that's pretty much what happened. And I try to get a picture before they get out of here.
Did they ever spot you? Rock would have killed you, probably.
Lindsay Lohan came.
Fellow Long Islander.
She came in, did drugs in my bathroom, stood out on the porch, and left.
Nice.
Unfortunately, I didn't even talk. I didn't know who she was. I don't know celebrities. I don't follow this stuff, and I don't know at the time. I didn't even know who she was.
You didn't have an advisor that knows celebrities that could be there.
Someone told me Lindsay Lohan is here, and I'm like, okay.
And so you weren't. So The Rock impressed you. Chris Rock and Lindsay Lohan.
Rock, I knew. And who else? It was funny. From Entourage, the guy Piven, Jeremy Piven.
He showed up at your house. See, I told you, he's everywhere.
Well, what's funny was I had this celebrity gifting suite party thing or something, and he was there, and he had just won the award, whatever the hell he won, Oscar, Emmy.
No, he won Emmy, the Emmy, yeah.
Yeah. And so I saw him, and so then I knew him because he won the Emmy, and I said, oh, that's So, and he had just won, literally, it was.
Don't offer him sushi, right? Was this before the sushi thing, or?
I don't even know the sushi.
You don't even know what that is. All right, never mind.
All
right. He was on Broadway. Keep going. No, he was on Broadway, and he got mercury poisoning from eating too much sushi. He had to quit the show and come back to L.A.
Oh, my God, I didn't know that.
Anyway.
But anyway, so I go up to him and I said, hi, this is my house. I'm Dave Levine. Nice to meet you. Can I get a picture with you? He's like, I just met you 2 days ago. Apparently, he was at my party, and I didn't even know who he was because he hadn't won yet, and I had met him, and I didn't even remember. So I'm like, oh, this is great. The celebrity knows me, and I don't know the celebrity. I feel very good now.
So what, you had a conversation with Piven then, or?
Yeah, I mean, it was, I introduced myself, said hello, took a picture, said, are you having a nice time? He told me he was at, nothing substantial. I was a little bit of friends with Paris Hilton, actually, before her porn tape. She was before she was famous, she was famous in Hollywood, and she was this hot chick who would go to the parties and just was like.
But how hot is she really? I mean, in real life, in person, is she really that hot?
Again, it's 8 years ago.
Right.
She looked good. Everybody knew. it's Paris Hilton. She'd show up with an entourage, also of good-looking girls. She, everyone knows she's rich, and she was always at the coolest parties. I mean, she was kind of a hot shit, And I had some friends, and this kid had a birthday, and we had this very small pool party. And she came to the party it was her sister, and Nicole Richie, and it was like 20 people. And I gave her and I was there. It was just a small thing, and I gave her like my sex toys, and I gave her a shirt, and then I would see her out, and she'd come up and say hi, and she used to wear my shirt, and so we were kind of friends. And then she got on that she did her little porno, and got on the reality show, and now she has no idea who I am anymore.
Oh, that's nice. That's a shame.
She just left me behind.
Just left you behind. And so wait, so you were in LA when the whole O.J. Simpson thing went down, right?
No, that was I was.
Oh, that was before you. My bad.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what. Oh, but there was the car. What was it called? The car-a-thon, when the traffic, the big traffic car, Carmageddon. Is that what it is?
Oh,
Yeah.
That was the most overblown. Nothing. It was the opposite. It turned out. Well, what happened was it was going to be Carmageddon. You're not going to be able to drive in the streets. We talked about it like it was the craziest thing. Every street is going to be traffic. Everybody left the city. No one drove. There has never been so little traffic. And actually, I went away, and then I had to drive through. Like when you go through LA, there's always traffic. If it's like 3 in the morning, there'll be traffic on this one area. It was the first time I ever drove through LA, and there was no traffic. I couldn't believe it. So there was no Carmageddon.
Mm. And also, since you're in LA, In-N-Out Burger seems to be, everyone always talks about it, overrated, and maybe that you eat healthy, so maybe not.
My wife loves it,
Yeah.
Apparently, and she's explained to me the phenomena, which is it's actually fresh beef, and people love this In-N-Out Burger. It's a long line. I don't even like hamburgers, let alone a good hamburger. I don't. It's not my bag. I eat fruit and salad. I got to stay looking good. I'm an old man,
Right.
in a town of young good.
Well, your wife probably looks pretty good, and she's eating the burgers, so what's her secret?
Well, she's actually really healthy. She works out. She eats very healthy. But, and I eat stuff, too, First of all,
Are people, is it harder, though, in L.A., too? I mean, I think most people are obsessed with that in L.A., right?
People are definitely in better shape and healthier in L.A. New York, everybody's got some flab. Out here, everybody's ripped. Like a torn sweater. Yeah, so, we're kind of health nuts. But still, listen, we went to a restaurant last night, and we split the mousse for dessert, and
split the mousse.
We'll still eat our thing. She'll eat her burger, but most overall, like anything else, it's like it's all in moderation. But
I would think there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of people get plastic surgery, people work out, and eating healthy, and then what you do for a living, and what kind of car you drive, and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, well, I did sell my Beamer and got a Prius. We both have Priuses, and we try to keep it real. But being in, I do believe in, some celebrity had once said, nothing tastes as good as being skinny feels. And I don't know about being skinny, but when you're in shape and you're healthy, it feels great. And to the point that it feels better than the joy you can get from any one food. So, I'm 44. My wife is 29. My scene when we go out, now she's pregnant, so we're not really going to any crazy clubs, but we'll probably get back to it. And, you're in a crowd with a bunch of young, good-looking people. I want to look good too. I mean, it's why not? You know what I'm saying?
Cool. Now I was just saying hi to people watching the show, and a lot of people are going to wrap up soon. We're going to do Conversations Plus. We're going to bring you the audience in. And hopefully Dave will stick around for that. But, yeah, for sure. I can imagine that it's got to be tough out there. All the people that are editors that have to stay on their ass, they're the ones that, suffer.
Yeah, but people work out. I sit at my desk, but I get up and do a workout every day. I have water in the morning, then I have fruit. I have workout every day. I have a big raw salad every day. It's not easy.
I do something called this wrap up for G Plus. You've been on G Plus New. I don't know not that long. I don't know if you're gonna maybe. I mean, I guess your favorite part of Google Plus usually people say is Hangouts. Is that?
Oh, I'd love to talk about. I talk about Google. In fact, we have a rule. My wife will not let me talk about Google anymore. Like, I am the biggest Google fan freak you'll ever meet. I don't know if you want to hear about all the Google things, but any chance to talk about Google, I love. And Google Plus, I believe, will destroy Facebook.
It'll take time, though. It's not.
Time, yeah, I don't know what you consider time. I mean, I think in a year from now, Google Plus will be like established as, okay, it's another social network.
Maybe,
2 years from now, it's going to be, oh, who's going to win? And probably 5 years from now, Facebook is going to be like, what the hell happened? Although Zuckerberg has done a lot. Maybe they'll innovate. I just don't know how you can
I don't see how...
You can't compete with Google. They're so good at all their software. I use them. I am on Google products all day. My entire company is on. We use the corporate email. We got Google Analytics tracking every page. We are testing every page in Optimizer. I got my YouTube, my Google Plus, calendar, phone, company. Yeah. I'm moving to Google Voice for my phones. And anytime I got money, I'm trying to buy more Google stock. I mean,
nice.
I can't stop. And I think that stock is really, it's not even expensive. Valuation.
Well, it's more money than Facebook, but
so Google Plus, I'm trying to I like it. It's a nice platform. I don't know how. I just started. I want to try to get get some people watching. I'm trying to make these hangouts. I'd like to build up my. I'm done.
Circlers.
I'm updating much on Facebook. I want to try to get my Google Plus.
I love Google Plus too. I've been using this since the beginning, but I have to say there's still value to have audience, Facebook, Twitter, and other places, just because, that's what people know.
I'm not closing it, but it's like it's just not as valuable. It's weird too. Actually, Tom Anderson had said this, and when he said it, he was on Google Plus. He said Facebook is for fun, and Google Plus is for like real discussions. And it's interesting because when I go to Facebook. When I get a post, I got to think, where am I putting this? Sometimes I'll put it everywhere. But usually I'm just, I'll put this here. If it's some goofy, funny little thing or something, I put it on my Facebook. But if I've got something that I think is interesting or I want to write or something, like something of content value, I feel like it's more appropriate to put it on Google+. I don't really know why I feel that way because I don't really have any followers or anyone commenting on Google+.
It's the way you feel like Google, and then Google's more serious. But I have to tell you, I've been using Google+. And I'll put out anything, whether it's goofy or it's serious. I like to mix it up. I want people to know me, get a feel for me, that I like all these different things, and I'm not just kind of one thing, if that makes sense. Kind of a mix of things.
And I love being goofy and stupid, and so I hopefully I will increase my level of stupidity on Google+.
Well, I took pictures of you wearing the dildo, so that should work.
Oh, I'm in trouble now.
Are you?
But if it gets me followers, then I don't care.
Then it doesn't matter. It's what it's all about. So far as Hangouts your favorite feature, or do you have a favorite feature in Google Plus?
Oh yeah, I think this Hangouts. Honestly, when I saw that, I don't know that I've had a reaction since the web. I mean, when I saw the web, I was immediately like, okay, because what it's about is a platform that you can grow on. And when I saw Google Hangouts, I'm like, this is a platform for creating content. That is a leap ahead. I think it's going to blow up because I believe the phenomena of Facebook and Twitter, what I believe it's really about is that everybody wants to be famous. And everybody feels whenever you post something, you think, you know what, people are going to care about this. Everybody's going to comment on this. This is going to be, and then we post it and nobody cares, but the next post we have, we think this is going to be the post that goes around the world. And it's that dream that fuels Facebook and Twitter. And now, what is this? But you and I, we both think we're going to create the greatest TV shows ever on Google Hangouts. But everybody's going to be on Hangouts, creating content and having their own talk show, and it's just really going to blow up.
I think it's really about consistency. I mean, quality is important, and you can do different things to make your video and sound better to a point. But I think it's really about entertainment and enjoying it, enjoying yourself, and that's really, and people get to know you in your stream and in Hangouts, and that also helps when you're doing shows. They're like, I know that guy, I want to watch that guy, versus some stranger. They're like, I don't really know who that is. I don't know their personality. People know me. They're like, he's gonna do something stupid or say something funny or be interesting or one of those, and it just takes time.
And it's also it's content. For me, because I have an audience of people, and we have our online knowledge base where we see what the most common questions are. So I know what most people are asking, and I can make a video about that. And I'm looking at these videos that we create. I have videos of SexToy Dave doing whatever, and people and YouTube has these statistics that show when people tune out. And a lot of my videos, it starts at 100% and it goes, by the end of the video, no one's watching it. But these videos, the Hangout videos that I've done on a specific topic, probably, and I'm targeting people, people drop off at the beginning, but most people, more than half, stay and watch the whole video. So, it's just the content. If you're saying something that people are interested in or they're learning, that's another. You're focused a little bit more on entertainment and interviewing and everything, but I got a little bit of the education.
No, business is important, education, all that.
That's right. You have those business sites.
Yes, some business pages, but it all kind of ties in, and I think that even when it comes to business, you can do something serious. It's my belief, though, it's that even if you're like, all right, we're a business, we're going to talk about business, and we're going to be interesting, I think that it's like anything that there has to be, I think entertainment and humor is going to make anything better, and I think that if it's too serious, I don't necessarily think most people are going to, I think people will tune out.
And I watched your show when you interviewed the guys who created Hangouts.
Who might be watching right now, so watch them.
And I thought it was just, I'm watching your interview, and you're like, so what kind of T-shirts do people wear at Google? I'm like, this is only on this show, or, only on this platform will you get, someone asking that. And everybody's taking the question very seriously.
I know, they're like,
they see in the office, and it's kind of funny. But yeah, programmer people wear T-shirts. I mean, it's very.
They do. People walk around Google in shorts and T-shirts, and they're geeky, which is fine. We're all geeky.
When I graduated, I went to Japan, then I came back, and I worked with the government, and I wore a suit every day to work for the government as they tried to waste money. And then to make a long story short, I spoke out, and I was fired. And I said, you know what? I'm never wearing a tie again. And I went 10 years without wearing a tie, and ranted about it regularly. And now I'll wear it. I don't need to put up the fight if there's some sort of situation. But I always knew that's the direction it's going, and it's no surprise that Google would have. I'm sure if someone walked into Google wearing a suit, people.
They make fun of people wearing suits.
Yeah, it's funny.
I'm sure they do.
I mean, if I hired my financial woman, who is amazing, and the first time she came by, she was wearing a
that was an awkward pause. What?
And she had these shoes, fancy dress shoes that I look at. It makes me feel bad for anybody who wears these kind of things. It's so uncomfortable. And I said, listen, and I'm wearing my T-shirt and short. You don't have to dress up, just because you're the financial person. And now she wears her sweats and her, CNV.com.
No makeup Mondays is every day.
Yeah.
You're like, no. You're like, now you do Hangouts. You're like, oh my God, what? Put on something. Is there a feature that you don't see here that you think you would love to see integrated yet, or you're not sure yet?
Regarding Hangouts?
Or Google Plus in general?
I'm so new that I don't even know that I can.
That's fine.
What am I?
I don't know. It's fine. You're
I'm
new.
just playing a little around,
Playing around. And what about the first thing that you thought of with the Hangout when you saw it? It's just revolutionary. Is there anything?
I think it makes it so easy to create a talk show, basically. A live talk show, because so for example, product videos. When you go to our website and you're looking at some vibrator, it increases conversions to have a video of that vibrator. And we've been talking about, we want to get more videos. We get them from manufacturers, but a lot of products don't have them. And I was looking at a project to make videos for products. So before Google Hangouts, what was my option? we got to choose all these products, write a script, get a video guy, get a studio, get a girl who's going to go on camera, get a teleprompter, video this thing, someone edits it, and upload it to YouTube. The whole thing's going to cost how much and take how long? Now, I've got, and we're going to do one next week, I'm going to have, instead of having this girl reading a script on a teleprompter, a girl who doesn't know anything about this toy, I'm going to have me, a woman who's done product development for 20 years, the manufacturer, our product manager, all on this video discussing one item for 5 to 10 minutes, and as soon as and the filming of that video will be free and and immediately able to put up on the website. So to me, that's a huge leap, and that's just one application that I have, but it's just made it so easy. And I really think, I don't know what they're working on, but just seeing how things progress logically, I mean, within a year, I wouldn't be surprised if you will be able to broadcast live video from your phone.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think people can actually watch it from their phone right now. They go to YouTube.
Well, watch it, but you could actually video. You could be, I'm at my kid's game with your phone, and you're broadcasting the Little League game live on YouTube.
Yeah, and that'll be awesome. The only thing with that is that I think the quality is going to be tough because you're talking about a device. Depending on the device, you're talking also depending upon Wi-Fi and stuff. And I think that even though they'll let us, you'll be able to do it. Quality, I think, is going to be pretty cool.
Well, Wi-Fi could be the same. So I guess at a game, but if we're in my house here where I've got Wi-Fi and the phone, listen, I don't know. I'm just.
Right, no, what you're saying, listen, I'm not trying to naysay you. Yeah.
I'm just saying that the platform here that anyone can create a live show or a show in general.
And have correspondence all over with mobile and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be huge.
It's pretty amazing.
So I'm going big on it. I'm trying to, and in fact, even in my company, I'm like, I'm trying to get, we've got all our plans, get people working, and I want to focus on video. I think it's really important, too. With it, Google updated their algorithm. I don't know if people follow this, but if you're in business trying to get traffic, Google updated
the SEO stuff. And
they updated their algorithm, and the game always was, get links from good sites that link to you using your keywords. And that worked, that's what
But now social is intertwined, so.
But Google changed that. So, like, everybody just fell off. And so now how do you get to the top of the search engine? And I don't know. But what I do know is video is becoming more important. So now our whole marketing strategy, I'm just changing it to let's make videos that people want to watch and get those videos out there.
Hey, it's a good strategy. I'm doing videos as many as I can as well, and I recommend if you're out there, make videos. And people would rather watch videos than read. It's sad, but it's true.
Well, when they invented the book, way back in whatever Roman times or whatever when it was, people were very concerned that the book would make everybody stupid because they would forget the art of storytelling. So, because you would just read books, you would forget how to storytell, and then no one's going to know how to storytell. And now it's like no one's going to know how to read because they're going to use video. It doesn't matter. It's about communicating, and just because the medium or form changes, it doesn't matter. Whether you read a book on paper or on a reader, it's just a book. And what is the point of the book? Is just to learn. Or if you watch a video or you read a transcript, same thing.
Yeah. No, for sure. I usually ask about who you recommend on Plus. I know you're kind of new. You did Candice, Hanlon, and Paulie 10 Sex, Lies, and Loves. How did that go? How did you hook up with them? What?
I was on Google Plus. I would search around. I'd probably typed in, sometimes I type in the word sex toys, see what comes up, and somehow she popped up, and it said a show, and it said it's about sex, or it was called Sex, Lies, and whatever, and I looked at it and I think I sent her an email, or
nice.
I think I just sent her a message and said, hey, I'm SexToy Dave. I don't know. Said something myself. Would you like me as a guest? And they said yes, and got me set up, showed me how to get set up for this thing, and it was a fun time.
What was your toughest? Was there a question they asked that was hard for you to answer that you remember offhand? Or?
Well, I'm good
very
at coming
sexual.
up with some answer for anything. I don't. It actually flowed nicely. It's a good show. They had, we talked a little bit about topics and questions, and there wasn't any difficult. I don't remember
Right.
anything being tough.
I know you talked a little bit about, relationships and sex toys and, being honest about having a sex toy and you're not hiding it from your partner or your spouse and that whole deal. That was
well, I don't remember exactly what we talked about other than, right. I know that, I'm a big believer in being honest about everything, and, you should.
Did you have sex toy parties? Did you have, your own parties where you had a bunch of sex toys and stuff?
No, that's, we have it's a business market. It's called home parties where people throw parties to sell toys. It's usually all women and a woman selling the toys, and they have a party, and then they sell the toys there. Right. And I've been selling to people who do those parties, but I have never I've never even been to one.
Wow, you've never been to one. Interesting, yeah.
No, but it is
you've been
part
to
of
the adult. You've been to the Adult Film Awards, right, and all that stuff.
Many times. In fact, this year I've been a few times, and then this year I got free tickets, and I asked my wife. I was like, "Do you want to go?" I thought she'd say no. She's like, "Yeah, that'll be fun." So I was, and so we went. You go to Vegas. It's the whole thing, but we went there.
Doesn't everybody like Vegas? Or do you get sick of Vegas?
I'm not a big fan of Vegas, but I'm a little spoiled. Like, I always had my thing when I was here in Hollywood. I could, go to the hottest club and just get right in, and everybody knows me, and everyone's giving me free drinks. I'm the man. I go to Vegas, I'm just another schmuck in Vegas. And the clubs aren't as good either. So I have to go through the same line as everybody else, and then you get in there, and the club's not as good. So I was like, why am I leaving Hollywood for this?
Right.
And so
it's out of control.
But I go for business. There's some, conventions which make, so I'm working and I'm doing stuff, and it's not. Listen, there's worse things in life than going to Vegas, but I'm not a huge Vegas fan. But we went to the convention, and one of the things that was funny is the red carpet line is like because like I said, if a girl's in one movie, she's a movie star.
Right.
A porn star. And so everybody's a star. The line for the red carpet was like a mile long. It was like getting in. I just said to my wife, I'm like, this is like getting into a club. We're not waiting in line. You go to the front and you just go walk on. So we snuck through, and I actually have a video on my YouTube of the red carpet.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
It's like it's just like crazy. It was insane. So there's that, and then the show's funny.
What are porn stars like? These porn actors, like men, women, are they personable? Are they, some of them are really smart? Is it weird to get so much plastic breast?
Yeah, I'm not a big fake boob.
I don't think anybody is big into
there
fake
are
boobs.
people who
Really?
love fake boobs, like they actually like fake better than real. And listen, whatever you want to do.
People like
but
big
I think
boobs, but fake.
Yeah, I think it's going out of style. At least looking. The fake look.
Right.
And especially, there's so many young girls that I've met in Hollywood, and they have their little boobs and they're small girl, and they're cute and they look great, and then they put on these fake boobs and it looks crazy. So that whole, I'm not into that stripper look, and the whole, when I first moved to Hollywood, it was like wow, and I was not that I never even dated a girl who had fake boobs.
Wow.
I just never, I don't know, couldn't deal. But I had plenty of friends and would go. I used to my thing was when I went out to the clubs or the parties, a lot of people, they pay money. Guys pay money, like a couple $1,000s to have a table at this club so they can be there. My thing was listen, I do have money, but I think it's insane to spend $2,000 for a night. Although I've done it sometimes with my company. But bottom line is, I was like, you know what? When I go to the club, I'll just show up with a bunch of girls. Because the guys pay money to get to the girls.
Right.
So the other way you get into the club is by showing up with a bunch of girls. So I would show up, so I'd hang out with plenty of these girls with the fake boobs and the porno girls and all this. And I'd show up at the club with this entourage. And I used to have, it was a whole thing. Because, when a club is crazy and hard to get in, it's all about you have 2 seconds in front of the line to, like, you either go right in or it's a whole mess.
Right.
So I would line, the girls, I'd line them up. Sometimes it's difficult to get the best-looking ones in front. There would be a whole drum. But, they all walk up, and I hide behind, and all the girls come up, and the door guys were all, oh, there's a huge group of girls. And they come running over, and then I pop up in front and say, it's just me and all these girls. And then they go, oh, okay, come right in. It's my whole
shtick. That's your shtick.
That was my shtick, yes.
That worked for you.
Yeah.
And so with the stream now, I mean, do you see any crazy? Do you have time to look at the stream? You see, like, I don't know how many people. You don't have a lot of people circled, maybe. Do you see, like, any crazy cat pictures or animated GIFs, or like, do you?
What are you talking about in the stream? What am I supposed to do?
So when you look at your homepage, you know how, like, everyone that you've circled, you see all their content flow in.
I've actually recently reduced it because I have so much. I sign up I have all these people who, like, I'm sorry, I moved my screen over to look at my.
That's fine.
I have so many people, like, from my industry, or people who sell sex toys, or there were some people who have a lot of followers. Some girl, and she's posting her half-naked pictures all day. I had so much junk in my stream that I filtered it out pretty good. And now,
you don't have to uncircle. You can actually raise volumes.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I turned the volume to 0 on a lot. And now I've got it, like, there's just a few. It's like I got Larry Page and
who posts like once every.
And that Cashmore, what's it?
Pete Cashmore, Mashable, yeah.
Pete Cashmore, and then a few others. I kind of look, and sometimes, whatever, on my phone I like to Google what's hot. It can be entertaining.
Yeah, it can be. And actually, you can use that on the regular site too. If you hit Explore, it's right there.
Oh, is that what that is? Yeah.
Yeah, when you hit Explore, that's where what's hot is. It used to just be called what's hot. Now it's Explore, and then it still says what's hot on it, but it's right there on the side. And you said you use Facebook, Twitter, maybe LinkedIn. You use them, but you use them a lot less than you used to.
I have LinkedIn. Every once in a while, I log in and accept everyone who requested me, and I log out, and that's all I do.
Right.
And then Twitter, I had a Twitter, and I just don't have the energy for it. I don't do anything in Twitter. And then Facebook, I've got my personal, and I've got my SexToy Dave page. Facebook.com/DaveSexToy or Facebook.com/SexToyDave. One is my personal, one is my SexToy Dave, and
one is your sex toy.
Keep it alive, but.
Cool. Well, listen, it's been a lot of fun. Let's wrap this up and move on with the audience. I'll start a new hangout. But it's been great having you. What sextoy.com? You want to plug sextoyclub.com?
Sextoy.com is our main retail site. If you go to CNV, CharlieNancyVictor.com, that links to all of our stuff. We have the affiliate program, which is myfreewebsite.com.
And we'll talk a little bit about that in the next portion, if you want.
Okay.
The affiliate. Get into that.
Yeah. So what do? We log out, and then I'm gonna
just sit tight for a second. Yeah, sit tight for a second. I'm gonna wrap up, and then I'll start a new hangout, and I'll invite you out there if you want in. Let me know. We will invite you in to talk to Dave and me, and it'll be more like a casual hangout. If they have questions, and you can stay for as long as you see fit. And so it was awesome. Coming up next week, Friday's show. Matty James is a British musician. He'll be with us Friday. It's June 1st. Can you believe it? Time is flying by. Rodney Pike, Matt Gibson, Eric Rice, Cam Meadows, a bunch of people. Check hangoutconversations.com for more guest info. Thanks to everyone watching live, and you right there. I see you right there on YouTube, maybe on that other IPO site we talked about. Maybe you're watching on that F-Book. Conversations Plus coming up shortly with Dave and myself. We'll be inviting a bunch of you in there to talk live with us and hang out. Go grab yourself some of the new, maybe the new G Plus app on the iPhone, the Android. Hang out, take some pictures. A ton of fun here. You can meet a lot of people. Like we said, this technology is awesome, and you can create a lot of content. But until next time, go tear yourself through some legends. See you in June. Summer's coming, and summer is coming. Summer's the girl next door. All right. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.